Okay, welcome everybody to the live stream. This is the Safemoon Round Table. We are here for the first week of 2022, and we have several special guests that are going to be joining us today. I'm going to go ahead and introduce them one by one. Let's go ahead and start off with Generation Crypto. Welcome, Generation Crypto. How are you doing today?
Good, how are you?
I'm doing great. I really appreciate you being able to join us here. Let's go ahead and bring in our next guest, RJ.
What's up, everyone?
You act like you're surprised that you're supposed to be on here. Like, wait a second, I left my camera on? Okay. And then next up we have is Safemoon Tim.
What's going on, everybody?
Diamond Fist in it. I see you. And then last but not least, the man, the myth, the legendary mythical creature, the only Adam Bergman.
We're
Representing
Brooklyn
New
out.
York.
We're Brooklyn out. I got 7 Mac. How you all doing?
All right, so just double checking, we are officially live, correct, everybody?
We are live.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and send out a tweet right now over on Crypto Atlas YT on Twitter. If you guys could help drop a like, retweet, maybe we can get some more people to come on in here as well. So we got several key topics that we are going to be discussing today, and then afterwards we will be opening up to the community for questions. So if you guys do have any questions, feel free to send them. Ideally, if you want to stand out a little bit better, you send them as a super chat. That's going to be able to highlight those questions for us a little bit later on. But we are going to talk about a couple of topics in the beginning. So first off, let's go ahead and get right on into the topic of the Times Square billboards. I'm going to go ahead and open up the floor. Let's start with you, RJ. What are your thoughts on the Times Square billboards?
I love it. I really, really do love it. I know, I feel, and I think we all share the same vibe that I feel like it was underwhelming for some. It flew right over the heads of some people that they're like, that's it, we're just doing billboards. But they don't understand the metrics and the data and the traffic that goes through Times Square every single day. Okay. And I sincerely believe to my very core that this is much, much better and exponentially better than one Super Bowl ad. This was the best bang for our buck. And again, right, 3 times per hour, 365 days throughout this year. So I'm ecstatic. I'm really, really excited for this, and it's gonna grab a lot of attention, a lot of eyes.
Yeah, I like it too, just because the first day that they did it, they got 35,000 new holders. And the second day, they got 25,000 new holders. So I think the advertising obviously is working quite well. And I think they nailed it. And as more and more regulations get loose and people can sign up easier in New York to get the cryptocurrency, I think it's just going to make it a lot easier and it's going to be a lot bigger.
Welcome, Moonboy, popping in at the last second right there. We are talking about the Safemoon billboards in Times Square. That's our first topic for today. It's great to have you here. Great to have all you guys here.
Yeah, sorry, I was 3 minutes behind, but man, the billboard was incredible. That was a great announcement. And I know some people are actually disappointed, thinking that there were going to be some kind of secondary announcement right after New Year's, January the 1st, 12:05, because I guess the mindset was, why pay for a billboard at this very point in time if there's not something big to advertise? But the token is the advertisement. And obviously with us going further on, they can customize that and bring new features on. For example, when the exchange drops and the blockchain, everything drops, they can customize that to actually bring those features onto the billboard to be displayed. So I think people forgot the whole concept of it's customizable. It's not just the fix, whale, and the website code. All that can be customized, which is incredible. That's a whole thing that's going to be going on for the entirety of 2022. So I think it's great. I had a fun time. I was watching it live. I think I was actually in your stream Atlas. You're actually sitting there at 12:05, waiting for it to pop up. I was there as well, and it popped up, I think, at about 12:06 or 12:07, but that was really cool.
Yeah, I think they got like a 1 minute delay for that live stream, which it's kind of typical when you look at a lot of live streams broadcasted like that.
Yeah.
Can I comment on the billboard? Yeah, the billboard is huge, guys. It's absolutely huge. And besides for it being 3 times every single hour, it's 3 times per those 3 times. So we're actually getting 9 15-second ads. I saw somebody just make a comment. They said, "Oh, the problem is 15-second ads is not enough to get a promo code." But don't forget, it's 3 15-second ads, and it's just to get somebody's attention, right? They got like a big aqua billboard. I think it's definitely the best possible use case of money that they could use. And it's so funny. I get into, I don't want to say arguments, but everybody knows by now, there's two subreddits, right? There's the Safemoon subreddit, and then there's the Safemoon Investing subreddit. Safemoon Investing subreddit is straight hating people, like straight haters. Safemoon subreddit is like, you can't say nothing bad. It's hilarious. And I don't fit in either one of them. But anyways, I was defending the billboards, RJ. I was defending the billboard like crazy in Safemoon Investing, and I'm like, that was fantastic. Now, I'm super critical. That was the freaking best move they possibly could have done, especially because they used not the analog billboards, but the digital billboards. And I don't understand how you can see that as anything but a win. Like, and they can change it at any point what they want to say. Speaking of which, we're going to be going there this Saturday. I know a lot of people are going to join us over there, and it's just straight up an effort, guerrilla, marketing tactics to talk to people. And we're probably going to make a mess of it, not do it right, but we're still going to be there and try. And I'm sure we're going to have other campaigns like that. But yeah, the billboards is a dope move, and you got to be a dummy if you don't see that, straight up.
Yeah, I've been really wondering, as far as with those billboards, the ability to make the updates to them, is that part of a contract set of terms where you agree that you can make certain amount of changes, or you have to get approval before you make those changes? Or are you obligated to only do certain designs way ahead of time that's been pre-scheduled?
So my clients don't own that area. Actually, I did a project there. Those steps where everyone's sitting, like that whole Times Square steps, all the flooring, that was my project. I was working with the commercial clients. So of those, there's like right next to Express, I don't want to say who mine are. There's like 8 or 10 businesses. So 3 of them I represented, and we basically did subseller vaults, which go underneath. It doesn't make a difference. The point is, I know a lot of those people that own the billboards. So you make a contract with them, and you go. It's like a pay as you go for like a year. So you're gonna give them a deposit, and then you got it, and then they bill you like bi-weekly. Let's say there's analog billboards, and then there's the digital billboards. The digital billboards is by far more expensive, but you can change them. So your contract is, as long as they approve the ad, you can change it within a certain scope. That's why on the bottom, did you notice how they say crypto is a very risky investment? They have that, like it's almost like a caution, like on cigarettes. Cigarettes kill you, but people still buy it, right? So they have a little caution on the billboard. So that's probably part of the deal where they're like, you have to put that caution there, like it's a risky investment. So yeah, they could change it at any time.
Hey Adam, just from my personal curiosity, do you know the cost of what running a billboard like that for the entirety of a year costs?
No, not at all.
No, I'd imagine.
I mean, I could find out if I double check it, but I mean, it doesn't really make a difference. But if you want to go a little further on that, so now they have this marketing Atlas. Can we talk about that? The marketing budget thing, the growth budget.
Yeah, sure. We could talk about that.
So they have this, 1% fee. So you have a 10% total tax for 1 million volume. So of the 1 million volume, you have $100,000 that gets taxed. Of the $100,000, $10,000 goes to the growth fund. So for now, we're having around a 2 million volume, right? 2 to 3 million volume daily. So our piggy banks, our coffers are getting, $10,000 to $20,000 a day that Safemoon now gets for a marketing budget. If you times that $10,000 times 365 days, you have a $3.6 million budget. Eventually, that $3.6 million budget is going to be like a $40 million budget, $50 million. At one point, it's going to get too much that you need. Why is this good? At one point, people are going to say, hold on, the marketing budget is too high. Why do we need that? But because of that, we're going to get redistribution later. Mark my words, our reflections are going to go up because it's going to get to a point you don't need that. If all the reflections are going to the LP, people don't ask questions and they're like, oh, it's going to the LP, like don't talk about it. But now we have a marketing thing, and this is a good thing, guys. It's not in a bad thing. I'm just saying, like, think in the future when we really have the volume, right? And we have a billion volume, and nobody's going to be taking that. What the hell does that give? 10,000 and a million times 1,000. What's 10,000 times 1,000? A million? No, 10,000 times. Whatever. Ain't nobody going to be spending that.
10 million.
Yeah, nobody's going to be putting that money into a marketing budget daily, right? Where's the money going to go? Back to us. Like, it's going to help us, the community. So this growth fund is fantastic because, like, I don't know if people understand this, and it's not SafeMoon specific. If a company, a crypto company, does not have a marketing budget or something, they're taking the money out of the LP. This is natural. This is where they get the money. You guys can hate me, scream at me, locked LP. That's a fact. Now you have an actually allocated amount. I prefer that. That's pretty cool. Like, they're like, okay, this is the allocated. I like it. I think that's super transparent and super dope. The thing is, once you get that marketing budget, that allocated amount, you can't take back from that. So the only thing you can do is either grow that to a certain point or say, okay, we don't need that amount, so let's redistribute it to who? The team. When we have an exchange, it's possible that we're going to have a surplus. And I made a video about it earlier that they're going to redistribute some of the fees from the exchange, and maybe they're going to redistribute that marketing fee back to us for holding a Safemoon token. Not the token we have now, but like a different version of it. Really cool stuff in the future.
Yeah, and I would say actually to add on to that, with the funding that's going in for the growth, a lot of people have been questioning if everything that's going to be paid for moving forward is coming from the Safemoon investments. But in reality, we take a look at what has just been passed last year. I think it was part of the Build Back Better plan, or it was one of those other names. And they're pushing very heavily for renewable energy in both the solar industry as well as for wind turbines. So there's a potential there for government subsidies that Safemoon's LLC registration in the state of Utah, in the United States, they very well could acquire additional funding for those ventures that they're pursuing without having to tap into the funds available that they're trying to do for all these other marketing purposes. And it's a growth fund. So that could also entail them expanding out the team members, hiring new individuals. You could have acquisitions of other companies like we talked about with Bibby Palm in the past, and just those sort of rollouts, having the funds available. Something else that's really important to note is that the liquidity pool before was 4%. It's been dropped down to 3%. That 1% that goes into the growth funds is where it came from, the liquidity pool. Your reflections is still 4%. They didn't hurt us as investors in any regard by doing so with that. So that 1%, what Adam was talking about, they could change that later on. They could stop doing that. They could allocate the funds over towards reflections to give out more to us. So now imagine you have 5%, but we could take it even a step further. Depending on how the liquidity pool situation is later on, it may not even remain as 3%. That could go down to 2% or 1% or 0.5%, because now with the version 2 contract, they can do numbers that are below a whole number. So there's a lot of opportunities that's there moving forward. And I think that with us being able to grow, if they're going to start rolling out things here in the near future, having a very strong set of marketing funds behind it is going to create a whole slew of opportunities.
You want to hear something cool or to expand on that topic, if you don't mind? When we're going to have our own blockchain, there's no need for an LP, which means there's going to be a lot of extra money on the table. Where that money goes, I have no idea how it gets distributed, but there's some really cool things that they could do. You really want to take off? Huh?
They can give it to you.
Bro, they still couldn't afford me. Nah, yeah, that would be dope.
Adam, if you don't mind, because I know you touched on this during that, what was that one night with Papa, right? And not a lot of people truly grasp what you said, and I know it flew over a lot of people's heads, including mine, and I had to Google what the heck you were talking about. But can you explain what happens when you get your own blockchain, and all of a sudden you no longer need liquidity because it becomes open market liquidity, right?
Sure.
Do you mind touching on that?
No problem. When you Googled me, did I get it more or less right? Like, were you able to find that?
Yeah. And I mean, obviously Papa verified that as well, right? And it's really, really interesting, and I loved learning about that.
Cool.
So I think the audience can benefit from this as well.
All right. So when you're a token, when you're on somebody's blockchain, basically nobody believes you. So, let's make it simpler. You're guilty until proven innocent when you're a token. So nobody knows who you are. Nobody trusts you. How do you instill trust? You come up with something called a liquidity pool. What exactly is a liquidity pool? The trusted currency of that blockchain, the native currency, has liquidity. And I'll explain to you how in a minute. So you pair the token with that native token, like native currency. That's all it is, and that's a liquidity pool for more or less. When you have your own blockchain, you no longer need to have a liquidity pool. Why do you not need to have a liquidity pool? The liquidity of your coin, not token, of your entire project, is dictated by the open market. What contributes to your liquidity in the open market? The more markets you're in. What is defined as a market? A DEX and a SEX. The more decentralized exchanges and the more exchanges you're on, the more liquidity you have, because there's always somebody buying and selling. It's a natural automatic market maker. Why? Right now, Safemoon is having a huge problems going on different exchanges, right? Like we're hoping to get on exchanges, but we're not on the big boys yet. And even the tokens that are like SHIB, there's still so many that they're not listed on. When you have your own coin, it's easier to get listed on bigger markets. So when we have our own blockchain, it's going to do two things. Well, several things, but two main things. Number one, it cuts out the liquidity. So that 4% that we're collecting fees, it's not that we're not going to collect it. I have no idea what they want to do, but it's no longer necessary for our coin. But we still might have a Safemoon token that's paired with the Safemoon coin. Still, there's other variations, but as Safemoon as a whole no longer needs a liquidity pool. Another thing that I was saying, and I'm not confirming this is what happened, but a lot of people are saying, oh, some people were stealing from liquidity pool or this or that. So my answer was, well, I'm not saying that's what happened, but whatever happened, since we no longer have a liquidity pool, that is no longer a concern. And whoever would have done that is no longer with the project, which means move forward, and that is still not a concern. Because if you go on a lot of these spaces, that's what they always say. Somebody stole from the liquidity pool. That's all. So that's essentially what it is. So for you guys to understand, no more liquidity pool is needed when we have our own blockchain.
Are there any major, I'm sorry, I just wanted to ask this question because I'm not sure if I know this answer or not. Are there any blockchain coins that are big that are on a bunch of exchanges that have tokenomics?
That are coins?
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know of any personally, but there may be one or two other. Just because you have a blockchain doesn't make you essentially large, though.
No, so, I mean, but like, are there any established coins out there, like Ethereum based or Bitcoin based, something bigger that have their own blockchain that's on a bunch of exchanges that's tokenomics?
You want to know something interesting? Like to touch on that? I can't find a single one yet, Tim. So I didn't check super hard, but not that I know of.
I can't.
Another same boat. But they will be. You'll see. Once Safemoon is listed, they will be.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Once they're the first one, everyone's going to follow suit.
Yeah. The interesting thing is, though, there's some kind of stigma. If you look at it, look at all the tokens on BSC. All of them. Like all the projects. And then look at all the projects on Ethereum. And if you compare them, Ethereum is here, and Binance is like the uglier stepsister, the redheaded stepsister. You guys, again, I don't care if you guys don't like what I'm saying in the audience. It's the fact. Binance is trying. And then there's a stigma that Binance is like there's a stigma that all DeFi is like BS. Then there's a stigma within the stigma that the BSC version is like a schemier version of the Ethereum. And we're all fighting to change that. And it will change. Because Ethereum as a whole is not a better system. They just have a lot more talented developers. It's almost like Ethereum is the Tesla and like BSC is like the Ford. Nobody wants to work here. You'd rather work there. If that makes sense. Bad analogy, but you guys get what I'm saying. So it's going to be interesting to see what Safemoon's going to be able to bring to the table. Yeah.
Okay, so a quick side note. Some of you have been sending in super chats. Don't worry, we will be getting to those. If you do submit those, we'll be answering community questions. That's the easiest way to make sure your questions do get seen. That'll be a little bit later on. We do have specific topics we'll be covering moving forward. The next topic that I want everyone to discuss is Operation Fenix's reveal video. There was lots of things that go into that video. Let's go ahead and start with a couple key points, and I'm sure this is going to be a fairly lengthy segment for us in this video. So let's go ahead and start with you, Tim.
I actually was not as excited by it as I thought, because I thought there was going to be a lot of stuff in there that I didn't even think that was going to be in there. But there was a lot of stuff in there that I saw that I was like, okay, nanoparticles in a pattern on a wind turbine, making it more efficient. But the thing that really shocked me the most was all the regulations over in Europe for getting banking set up. I think that was one of the biggest things that I wasn't expecting from it. So I really liked how they also showed off how the technology worked with the slow motion, and how you could see the drag on the wind turbine blades pulling it more. So there is more kinetic energy that's delivered to the wind turbine blades, essentially giving you more energy because with less wind, which I thought was very fascinating, because to see it in a photo, but then to see it in slow speed or high speed video is another thing. So that I really enjoyed about the video. So that's pretty much all I have to say on that video. But I mean, I liked how they were showing off the Gambian, how they got the 3D printing of the turbine blades, where they have the airfoils, where they were showing that off. I think that's pretty cool. I think you brought up, Atlas, that there might be some sort of way that you could purchase an NFT and print out an airfoil blade or print out a turbine in the future. I don't know if that was something that you brought up at one point, but I think I heard you say that. I think that is totally a possibility based on what I saw in that video. So I would like to get your take on that, because I think you mentioned it somewhere, and I think that is brilliant.
Yeah, so some very interesting things going on. And it looks like Generation Crypto, I think you got something you wanted to point out here real quick, correct?
Yeah, so the Funhound just sent this tweet out like a few seconds ago. It's pretty big news. If you guys want to read that, what's on screen. If you want, I can be the one to read it here.
You're the one that posted it. I would love for you to be able to read it.
Awesome. Okay, so from the Funhound, he says, proud to announce that Wallet Connect for Safemoon Wallet is completed for iOS and Android, finishing up a few other items before the next update is ready for submission. So the Wallet Connect feature is complete, and it is going to be coming out in our next update.
I think that deserves a diamond fist. That's what I wanted.
Yeah. Diamond fist, guys.
That deserves a diamond fist, guys.
Okay, can you go click on his
awesome.
profile? Go click on his profile. I want to see if the loading bar is full.
Okay,
it's not. It's not. It's interesting. So now that begs the question: what is that loading bar?
So, correct me if I'm wrong, but he's talking about Wallet Connect versus this is Safemoon Connect. They're technically separate things, right?
Yeah.
It's starting to lean towards that. I mean, it's only been 2 minutes since he posted. I don't know if there's like a weird API update till you see the change in his wallpaper or something, or he's working on Photoshop right now to make it look more full. But I would say, if anything from this, I would kind of be led to assume that the loading bar should be more full. Not necessarily complete, but Wallet Connect, if that's not tied in directly with Safemoon Connect at all, it's kind of confusing, right?
Oh right. Yeah, that's straight up my bad. I was reading Safemoon Connect and I had dyslexia kicking in. Wallet Connect. Wallet Connect is
dyslexia too? Dude, that's awesome. Or are you just, because I actually do have it, so I didn't know if
I thought I was the only one.
No. I self-diagnosed ADD and dyslexia, but I read that literally as Safemoon Connect. So my bad. It is Wallet Connect, but Wallet Connect is still really, really huge because, so never mind. I don't want to get into it. I'm going to snowball myself into a topic, but Wallet Connect is still really huge.
No, that is pretty awesome. I'm really excited by that, and because this just goes to show you how fast they could complete something, and you're still waiting on these other companies to get out with something, and they're not even getting out with something. So all those people that come out and try to like throw FUD at you, you're just like, dude, we released the wallet on iOS and Android. It has Wallet Connect. It has a reflections tracker in it. I mean, it's just like, boom, we did it in under a year. And by the way, we have nanoparticle enhanced turbines that are going to generate electricity for the not only a developing country, but also power our blockchain. And we're going to have our own telecommunications company. Come on, like seriously. Just
there's so many opportunities moving forward with this, and I always wonder, all the videos that we put out, if the Safemoon team is going out and checking out some of the videos and they're like, no, we weren't doing that before, but I actually really like that. Like, you guys should go get that set up and started right now, implement that. I wonder if that's something going on too.
I gotta say, when it comes to the wallet, it's kind of interesting that we get a lot of FUD around the fact that people mentioned it was really basic when the wallet released, and the fact that a wallet's not that big of a deal. But when is the last time you saw Trust Wallet or MetaMask release a major update that added a lot of new features to the wallet? Because we get them for Safemoon like every month. So the fact that we're getting so much innovation being pushed into the wallet, that it's improving, the bugs and issues that it was having prior are getting fixed. So when people have issues, they listen, they get them fixed, and then they add new features. So it feels like every 3 or 4 weeks, we're getting brand new features getting added into these wallets. And I've had MetaMask for a couple of years, and it's extremely rare that you get any major updates that improves anything on it. It feels like it's just been built, and that's just the way it is. If anything, it's just a few bug fixes here and there, and maybe some security issues they work on every few months. But am I kind of in the same boat, or do you guys kind of feel the same way when it comes to the wallet?
I mean, I feel the same exact way too. I have MetaMask, I have Trust, and I have Safemoon Wallet, and I don't hardly see any updates for them that improve on them in the way that they look visually. I did notice that recently Trust Wallet has another way of paying. They have Simplex, MoonPay, and now there's another one I can't think of. But other than that, I haven't seen many new updates to that make it all that spectacular. So I know they do have a dark mode, so I'm kind of waiting for that on the Safemoon Wallet. I can't wait for dark mode.
I'm on the same page. I'm looking forward to dark mode.
You know what I really like about the Safemoon wallet? That was I took for granted that we have a Safemoon wallet. I know it sounds stupid, but like I'm transferring over from Trust Wallet to Safemoon with the V2, all those things. And on my Trust Wallet, I had a couple of other tokens there that I bought for some videos, things like that. But I lost tons of my tokens. I don't know where they went. Like it wasn't huge amounts, but I just realized how good it is not to put in a contract, right? Like you don't have to put in a contract for the Safemoon wallet. Like the Safemoon is there. That is the contract. So you don't got to put in no decimals and things. And bro, I hate DeFi wallets, but Safemoon really does make it easier for specifically Safemoon. And that's me saying it, bro. I know what I'm doing. I can't stand them. I want to jump out the window when I use DeFi wallets. You know what I mean? Why does Generation Crypto look like a duck?
Because it's the StreamYard logo.
I know. That's terrible, bro. Yo,
He's reaching around it.
When we were doing one of these, I was up there, and my mom, Mama Bergman, she's calling my girl. She's like, whoever's doing this live stream, tell them I'm gonna kill them. I can't see my son, bro. Like she's like, it was the best thing ever, bro.
And I think that a big thing has been highlighted about the wall as well is that the team listens. That reflection tracker that we have currently is not the reflection tracker that we're supposed to have. The one that we have was created by a community member in the Reddit. For me, is way better. What we were going to get, which was okay, did its job when it comes to tracking the reflections of whatever token you want to have in the wallet to reflect. But versus what we do have right now, I use it a lot. I go into the Safemoon wallet, I can see my reflections on a daily, weekly, monthly rate. I can see the per day earnings, the dollar amount, the coin amount, and that is the community reflections tracker that they listen to us on. It wasn't a vote or anything, but the community had a very loud voice about that, saying this is a really awesome visual of how you should reflect. This is what we want. They said, okay, what other token is going to do that? What other project is going to listen that deep when it comes to changing whatever they already had worked on? Their other reflection tracker was down there finished. They had to recode all that, to redesign just because we wanted it. I think that's incredible that the fact that they are so on board and so behind the community with just little things. It wasn't a massive thing. It was just a visual of how we wanted the reflections to be displayed. They listen heavily, and I do appreciate that when it comes to the team. Because for me, although it's just a visual difference, I use it more, which is going to bring more interaction to the wallet, which more interaction to the wallet is just more interaction in the Safemoon ecosystem.
Moonboy, can I ask you a question about the wallet?
Let's go.
What are the chances I'm going to get a parentheses and a percent sign?
Parentheses in percent sign.
Oh, no.
Chances?
Does anybody know this joke, or am I the only one that knows this joke?
I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know this joke, man. Hey, you got me lost.
Because they're missing a couple features, I think, initially in the calculator. That's just basic stuff, right?
Yo, so there's no percent sign and there's no parentheses. So every time I make a video, I can't use the Safemoon calculator for my Safemoon videos. So I always message Ryan. I'm like, bro, where's my percentage? Where's my parentheses? So it was a joke. Anyways, bad joke because nobody understands it. All good. We keep it moving.
I mean, hey, again, like that's just a small thing as well. Just like how for me, the reflection tracker that we have is great for me because I use it literally every single day. For you, the parentheses would be great for you. For me, I don't know if I would use that feature because I actually don't even use the Safemoon calculator much at all. I just use a regular calculator that's already installed on my phone. But for someone like you, it just adds more diversity to specific people who would use other features more than others. Like, for example, you would probably use that on a maybe every other day basis. And it might entice me to use it more because there's more to offer inside it that's probably more simplistic. So, but yeah, I'm sure eventually when Ryan has that on his checklist and it comes up, he's going to implement that. So he doesn't ignore us. I know that.
Do you guys mind if I touch on something with the reflections really quick? So I've been getting this question a lot on a handful of my videos, my more recent videos, with people getting confused with the reflections tracker. So a lot of people have been reaching out to me either through comments or through direct messages asking how they can sell their reflections. Because I think a lot of people have come under the assumption with the reflections tracker that your reflections are somehow separate from the other tokens in your wallet. And that's not the case. So when you see those reflections showing up in the wallet, that's how much you're going into your main wallet. There's not a division between your main wallet and then like the reflections that you're receiving. They all pull into the exact same wallet and they're all in the same place. So when you see those reflections there, you see, oh, I got 500 reflections. I got 10,000. I got 1,000,000 reflections over whichever span of time. Those all went into your main wallet. And if you actually take not a screenshot, but just a mental note of how many that you have in your wallet there, and then you come back a week or a day later, you'll notice the amount goes up a little bit. So reflections are not held separately. And if you wanted to sell them, you'd have to just look at the reflections tracker, see how much you've been receiving, and then sell that amount or swap for that amount using the swap by Safemoon. So they're not held separately. I just feel like I needed to touch on that because I've had a lot of questions on it.
And it actually doesn't make sense for it to be separate because some people might think, well, why not implement another feature to where my reflections goes into a separate bag? So I have my main bag and then have a reflections bag. But the reflections compound into your main bag, making your main bag bigger, giving you more reflections. It's exponential compounding interest. That's the benefit of why it goes into your initial bag. To separate it wouldn't really help. You'd have to manually add it over to your main bag versus it's just auto compounding. So it's an incredible feature. And, like you said, just look at what you had and just sell the difference. That's all you need to do, or swap the difference for BNB.
Exactly.
Okay, Generation Crypto, can you do a favor? Can you pull up the tweet from Ryan once again?
Yeah, let me get that pulled up here. His most recent one, right?
Yes. And sorry, RJ, I was trying to handle something else. I should have pulled you over when you were talking there. Okay, so this is Wallet Connect. Now, if I remember correctly, didn't he comment in the past that this is going to be that back-end developer portal?
The back-end developer portal?
Yeah, so if people wanted to be able to identify, for example, with Dogecoin, what compatible cryptocurrencies they are okay with for swapping, they can log into the back-end developer portal and be able to handle that manually themselves, submitting tickets in for the team's approval. I think they could also try and enter in if they want to get their own cryptocurrencies listed. Do you guys remember this?
I don't remember that. I remember him saying that, but I don't know if that's tied to Wallet Connect. So one of the major things about Wallet Connect is I don't know how to really explain this, right? Because I've been working with cats on this, because a lot of you know I have a cold storage wallet, and in that cold storage wallet you have your own kind of like internal browser. Okay, I don't know if you guys can see that. Before, I could not connect my cold storage wallet to Safemoon's like swap on the web feature, but now my Binance wallet is connected right now. I want to test like a purchase to see if I could do it, but if it is, that's crazy. So I'm just geeking out. My bad.
Let's get crazy.
All right, so I would say let's go ahead and get back to the primary topic now. That's very interesting. You pointed that out. Good catch, Generation Crypto. We're talking about the wind turbines and Operation Fenix. Tim, you had mentioned if you wanted me to elaborate a little bit more on what I kind of found out. So they're using a special kind of material that was showcased in the Operation Fenix video. It's a nylon print material. I think it was nylon 11, and it very well could be just for demo testing purposes. But as a scaled down model, we don't have to do these super tall wind turbines like you saw in the video and you're so accustomed to. We have more household type applications, and all the samples that they're using right now is from a third party company. Yes, that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be the final wind turbine that they end up using. They very well could be partnering up with another company, and they're running these preliminary tests. That other company is going to do the manufacturing, but they're going to license the nanoparticle technology that Safemoon themselves are going to be creating. So, excuse me, sorry about that. I got something in my throat. So applying this to the material itself is a practical application. If you could use a scaled model 3D printer to mass print all of these wind turbines, it'd be great. If you tied it into an NFT-based system, has been kind of noted by the Safemoon community. Imagine the capabilities behind something like that. I did a breakdown video where I showed you a side-by-side comparison. I don't know what the wind turbines are going to be generating, but let's just say it's 10,000 Safemoon per day average. That Safemoon that you generate from that, if you are the owner of the NFT, they produce a real world life wind turbine, they install it over there, it's generating electricity and showing support for developing country. So you're technically doing a good cause. You could potentially also store that electricity and sell it as another offsetted price to be able to do the manufacturing and printing of all this stuff. But imagine this. What is it exactly they're going to be spending to buy these wind turbines? Are you going to be spending Safemoon to acquire them? Or could you have another option like USDT, a stable coin, something that's pegged directly to the US dollar? Because if you go that route, then you don't have to worry about the 10% transaction fee. I don't know if Safemoon would potentially eliminate that for something like this anyways. But this leads into Hodui or Hodui or whatever you say. I thought about it. I was like, wait a second. We know that was supposed to be a big deal. That was a partnership with them. They deal with NFTs. Safemoon's getting involved in NFTs. And if you go to try and buy any NFTs on their website, they deal with USDT. You go look at Rarible, for example. They have their own cryptocurrency, the .rar or RAR or what Rari, I think is what it is. Sorry. So just imagine if you could buy a wind turbine and then you're spending an X amount of money. And in comparison to somebody else that spends the same amount of money to just buy the Safemoon, you're going to be earning reflections on every trade. The wind turbine, you're only getting Safemoon once it's turned on and it's actually generating. So there's a certain threshold point. We ran a couple different tests. I conducted it with Safemoon Glubiz. He helped me figure out the math on this. And in 3 different of the 4 different scenarios, in less than a year, you would end up with a wallet that has the same amount of Safemoon as if you had bought it originally and it had been earning reflections the whole time. Because you're earning reflections in the wallet that you receive the Safemoon in from the wind turbine spinning, in addition to the fact that that is earning its own reflections. So it's kind of a delayed compounding effect. This is something that practically we could use in a decentralized fashion where the number of wind turbines that are being installed is dependent upon us as the investors. And so I think the utility of the 3D printed mechanisms, the making it more efficient, that's going to cause, we want it to be more efficient too, right? Because if it's going to be generating income for us, we want it to be best performing as possible. Of course, for the people in the Gambia, they want to make sure that their grid system is also going to be highly secured. So there's so much opportunity that's here that they could go down that road, but we don't know for sure yet. There's just lots of signs that have been pointing in these kinds of directions.
Very well said.
Okay, so let's go ahead and talk a little bit more about Operation Fenix, Generation Crypto. As far as for things that you saw inside the video, was there anything notable that stood out to you?
There was a lot of things. I just wanted to say that for a lot of people who may not be avidly in the spaces, who may not have broken down the video and watched it 5 times like we all did in slow motion and trying to catch every detail, you may have been a little bit disappointed with the Project Phoenix reveal. You might have felt like, hey, we've kind of already had most of this information revealed for the most part to us. Like, this doesn't feel like it's anything new. And on the surface, you may be correct. If you just watched it once and kind of half-heartedly watched it, you're probably going to come under that assumption. But if you actually paid attention to a lot of the finer details, we learned a lot of information in that video. And there's a lot of things that we can take out of it. One of the examples is they're actually 3D printing a lot of the blades for the turbines that they were testing for within the wind turbines, which is really interesting. And so they're using a nylon. And we've talked about in the past that, and John has talked about, and Tim has talked extensively about these hydrophilic and hydrophobic molecules that they'll be adding in. Well, the way that you can, one of the ways that you can print nylon is through multi-jet printing, which is essentially using a liquid and you fuse it and blend it together. And it kind of makes like a resin that you harden that can create whatever shape that you want to make. So they could literally fuse with whatever substance they're using or however way they're making those hydrophilic and hydrophobic. They could blend those in during the 3D printing process to make those blades do what they want to do rather than just a simple coating on top of it. So there's a lot of cool things that you can pull from, and you can theorize just from the video that we saw, just with the fact that we know that they're 3D printing, we know that it's nylon, we know that they're wind testing all of this information. You can look and see what programs they're using to do all of this stuff. So there's a lot of information you can pull from it at different timestamps. If you just go back and look through all of the finer details, even stuff in the background when they're in the Gambia, some of the things that are behind them for some hints for people to go do deeper dives into, and where they're located and what they're doing in those specific locations. There's just a lot of stuff that they revealed that's just not, they're not just going to, hand it to you on a silver platter right now, most likely because they've got NDA agreements and other things. They can't necessarily talk about everything at this moment because things need to be executed first, but they revealed what they could because that's what John said. He wanted to get the permission of what he can and can't share, and that's what they did. And they left, I feel like, a lot of hints for us to kind of figure out without exactly telling us. And I think that was designed on that way on purpose. It's not to play some game of hide and seek and do all that stuff, but more so of saying, I'm going to show you without showing you so you guys can get the information, but I don't violate any of my agreements that I have created because I didn't explicitly say anything.
Very well put. Let's go ahead and go to Moonboy next, followed up by Adam, and then RJ will get your thoughts as well after that, okay?
Yeah, I feel like Generation Crypto said it best. I'm kind of with Tim as well. I wasn't disappointed. I think I was looking for probably a bit more. Now, the video did have quite a bit of information, things that we knew, things that we didn't know, things we knew about that provided more details in regards to how they're going to execute certain functions. So it definitely was a plethora of information. I feel like for me, I just love to see them actually on the, pretty much ground zero, walking in the Gambia and almost getting a visual where these wind turbines are going to be located. You can tell that they're not trying to go after these well-developed cities. They're not trying to go after these established markets, for example, parts of South Africa, big mass city. They're going after what looks to be almost villages, or places that are, definitely considered third world. They want to develop those spaces first, improve their concept there first. So I really enjoy just seeing the visual of where we understand the Gambia, but what specific parts of it as well. Overall, when it comes to the actual 20,000 frames and seeing the wind go over the blade and getting that visual as well, that was actually a really cool visual as well. They had like a little watermark on the bottom. Not sure that was like a little miss of the editing or whatever. It's not really here nor there. But I feel like what people are really missing about the video, because I've gotten a wave of comments saying that how disappointing it was and it wasn't really what they were expecting, as it sounded like it was supposed to be hyped up. This is our first of all, our first Safemoon video. And this is actually a very good introduction to people who are in the space that might have second or third thoughts about, why should I buy into Safemoon? Why am I going to buy into this cryptocurrency that on paper looks like nothing but a reflective token? Well, now we have a very great video by our CEO with a really good use case and a really good proof of concept. And it's very easy to now direct people to that video saying, any further details you want when it comes to the use case, look what we're trying to do now with renewable energy and revolutionizing wind turbines, which in the past have died down to solar energy. Reinventing that in a sense, doing it better, scaling that down, and cutting costs because now we're using a 3D printing model. When you break down what the video did offer, for me, it offered more confidence. And for people who are first-time investors into Safemoon, they have somewhere to go instead of having to tear through Discord, tear through Reddit, tear through Twitter, tear through the plethora of videos that we all upload. There's almost a one-stop shop place where you can get that first introduction into what Safemoon is. So when it comes to the purpose of the video, it executed 100%. It did its job. It did exactly what it needed to do. And we know Job is tied behind certain NDA. John's tied behind certain NDAs. And I've heard people, they don't like that as well. But, for me, it's very interesting, right? Because it's very easy for another crypto to copy what another crypto is doing. To have these NDAs, although as an investor, you might want more details up front, it actually does keep their use case and keep the technology specific cells until they roll it out. Imagine if they roll everything out. It doesn't take much of any time, honestly, for another crypto to look at what they're doing, saying, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to try to do it first. They may not be able to execute what Safemoon specifically can do, plus with Safemoon partnerships, as well as the connections they have in the Gambia. But the NDAs are there to protect the use case, to protect the project. And the video for me is a quick introduction in regards to what it's going to offer in the future. So overall, I did enjoy what I saw. And my light just died. Sorry about that.
Yeah, I'd be like Dr. Evil with Milo. $1 million. I like the video. I don't really care for anything that was in the video. but a video was around an 8. People got to understand something. Don't look at the video as for us. Look at the video for somebody that has no idea what Safemoon is, and then you show them this video. People will be eating the Kool-Aid, and I'm not saying that in a bad way. Like, whatever's in that video, they're like, this is the most amazing thing. That's how I would feel. Like, I promise you, if I first saw this project, I'm like, this is the greatest thing since sliced bread. And that was the point of that video. It was to get marketing, not to us. It was to get marketing to new possible investors, things like that. What I would do better is, I don't like the way John presented it. He wasn't looking in the camera, and whoever set that up should be fired, or they set it up in really big haste. It looked bad, so it looks like he doesn't know his own technology. That's my personal opinion. But other than that, it was like an 8 out of a 10. I liked the video, not for the substance of the video, but for what it does for new investors.
Hey guys, we've got 579 of you guys watching and only 235 likes. Can we get some likes for Crypto Atlas here? Get those likes up so we can get this out to more people.
Smash
so
that like button.
Watching.
Thank you. And
the like button.
To elaborate also, I have a link to everyone's channel in the description. So if you guys would like to go and follow any of these awesome content creators that also talk about Safemoon, you can find all of their channel links in the description. We did have Moonboy that joined in just a little bit after we started. I got his added, so you might need to refresh the page, but his is in there as well. Okay, RJ, we would love to hear your thoughts on what you saw in Operation Fenix, if there was anything specific that stood out.
So I'm gonna echo a lot of what everyone was saying a little bit here. So I would give it overall, and don't like chastise me for this, right? I know for sure I missed a lot of things. I know for a fact I missed a lot of things that maybe they hinted a whole bunch of teasers and a whole bunch of little breadcrumbs in there. But I am also just as, if I were to give constructive criticism, right? Just like how Adam's talking about it.
Fodder.
We're all...
Fodder. RJ's a fodder.
I also use Ledger. No, I'm just playing.
I was about to say.
I don't use Ledger, guys. I use Lapel. Bergman's already starting to troll me here. But no. So I agree, right? This was our first iteration of the video. John was definitely looking at his notes and not at the camera, right? This is these are just small critiques, of course, and the information itself, of course, was really good. I did, a whole bunch of us have done videos on this already. I feel like a lot of the information flew past a lot of people. They're talking about molecules and wind and all that stuff. So it was easy to definitely gloss over. I definitely watched it the first time with glossy eyes, and I had to rewatch it and really start writing down the words. But it's exciting to see where Safemoon is headed and what they are doing as a technology company, right? I would have to lean with Adam on this. Let's go ahead and make sure, let's get our foundation in. Let's go ahead and release our blockchain. Let's go ahead and release our exchange. Let's continue pushing, of course, on the innovative side of things and look at what the, one sec, guys, my girlfriend's hooking me up with some coffee. Thanks. So it's a VIP service right
coffee.
There.
Hey, shout out to her.
So yeah, let's lay the foundation. That's always good. But let's go ahead and continue innovating, and let's go ahead and find what separates us from these other companies, because I'm invested in other technologies, guys. And when I'm seeing some of these technologies, I'm like, yo, these guys are legit. And then if we're taking a look at Safemoon and what they're trying to do, they have a perfect opportunity to really capture and take this space that they are leaning hard into, which is green energy. So I liked it. I really did like it. I think people are doing on a scale of 10. I'm going to give it, with constructive criticism, I will say a 7.5.
I was literally going to say the same thing. I'd give it a 7.5 on the editing could have been done much better. The placement with the screen for his reading could have been set up better. The lighting wasn't great. These are little tiny things that I'm nitpicking. I wish that we would have had Yeah, I mean, it just makes it look more professional, and it's just minor stuff that doesn't take much effort in an editing process to do. And you don't have to have much experience to be able to fix some of those things. The other thing, too, is that we didn't exactly get a lot of new information. And I think a lot of us in the community were really hoping for that. I don't know if there could have been some of the data that they've already conducted they could have shared, or just something like that. I agree, though. I think the video is primarily geared towards the marketing, towards a newer based audience, and also maybe towards the engineers, because John did say that a lot of engineers were DMing him asking about how he was able to pull off some of the stuff that was shown inside the video. Okay, so we got a couple other topics, and then we are going to be getting to community questions. I want to make sure that we have a good amount of time set up for that. So if we start to run a little bit long in some of these topics, I'll let you guys know. It's no offense to any of you. It's just I want to make sure that we be respectful to the rest of the community as well. If you guys do want to send in your questions, you can still send them in. I'll be going down the list, and we'll be trying to get through to everyone as much as we can, okay? So the next topic is Gamma, or it could be pronounced Gamma, depending on how you want to interpret it. And I want to try and get some of your guys' thoughts on this. Tim, I know that you did an extensive video on this as well. Would you like to start us off?
Yeah, so I think I was wrong with Gamma based off of some of the comments that I got from people on Discord after they went after the core development team with questions from the one video that I released. So I originally thought Gamma had to do with the chemical brushes that are used to apply nanoparticles. I can't even think of the word right now. It's like D-methathicol, blah, 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 blah. But it's also abbreviated as Gamma. So when he dropped the Gamma thing, I thought it was all about that. Through talking with a lot of other people, I now believe that Gamma is this place called gamma.io, which is a place that mints NFTs. So I think that has more to do with it than what I originally thought when I first jumped into it. But I didn't know about that when I first started making the videos. So I think it has something to do with minting NFTs and something in the gaming world about it. And apparently those NFTs could be moved around on decentralized servers. So I think that's kind of cool. It's not like something like a Fortnite where it's stuck on that centralized server and you can't ever get it off. You bought it there and that's where it stays. This is something that could move around between metaverses if it was on a decentralized system. And I think that's important. And I think that's that's sort of where they want to go with stuff, based on what they've been saying. And I think it's the gamma.io place that will be making those things for Safemoon. I think they might have some sort of partnership with them, but that's just another idea. They haven't come out and confirmed anything, and I would just like to get your guys' thoughts on it.
Yeah, so I have actually got a couple points I'll add on with gamma.io, but I'm going to go ahead and move down the list here. So if you guys are right below me, you're the next one that's going to be go ahead and popping over to speak, just to make this a little bit easier. And it might be
Adam,
easier,
you're muted.
Adam, if you unmute yourself.
Bro, I was talking telepathically. You guys,
I heard you.
I think
I heard
guys,
it. I swear.
I have no idea what Gamma is. Didn't even give it any thought, so I can't help on this subject.
Yeah, for me as well. This came out during the holidays, and ever since the Safemoon video, I haven't really dove deep into any further information. Kind of piggybacking off of what Tim said, if it is based off of NFTs and that those NFTs are transferable from different servers, then I feel that's just furthering the use case of what Safemoon wants to offer. And if you're at all going to plug those NFTs to owning a wind turbine or owning a portion of the blade on a wind turbine, however that's going to fit into the ecosystem, it's something more that we didn't have further. There's more details that we didn't know previously. For me, I do want to dive deep into it a little bit more, into regards to what that could mean. But at this point, it's all speculation. It's all, us trying to find what's in the market versus them actually releasing concrete information. So, but yeah, I don't have really anything further as I haven't dove deep enough to have an opinion.
So there has been a lot of speculation as to what Gamma means, whether it's a company, whether they're talking about gamma rays or gamma radiation. I've heard theories as crazy as people saying it has to do with, our investors here in Utah and the fact that we have Skinwalker Ranch and there's a lot of gamma radiation there. And they're doing technology with that. So I've heard that it's a nod to that in some fashion. I've heard everything from what you guys talked about gamma.io. In my personal opinion, I think a company like gamma.io and involving themselves in NFT sounds the most plausible. But again, we don't have the information, so I don't want to speculate too much because I mean you can go a million directions with this. I mean, just Google searching Gamma gives you thousands and thousands of hits in different places and ways you can really go down some rabbit holes with it. So I don't want to add to that pile, and so we'll just wait till we have more information before I add to the pile. So.
Oh, Audrey, let me come. Yo, this guy says Adam's cat has the information regarding Gamma, but he can't share it because of the NDA.
Wow.
That's the truth.
Awesome.
Am I up?
You're up, RJ.
Yeah, I the only the only information I have on Gamma, because you guys know I don't really dive into these dark spaces of speculation, but I've only watched Safemoon Tim's video on Gamma, so that's all I can contribute on that portion. Safemoon Tim, you are ahead of the curve, sir.
Okay, so I got a couple thoughts to talk about with Gamma and touching on the Gamma.io. So interestingly enough, the company that is behind Gamma.io had just recently acquired some seed funding or some investor funding, and that was back in, I believe, November. It was about $6 million worth, and trying to push forward with Gamma itself. It's trying to sort of bridge, the real world with the metaverse. They're using verbiage like that, which I think a lot of these NFT projects may very well be using that kind of verbiage, but I did find that to be interesting as a starting point. The next thing is that if you go and check out the company behind Gamma, or Gamma, I don't know how you pronounce it, to be completely honest. So if you go check out that company's website and the NFTs that are tied over there, they have the ability to where you can purchase an NFT, and upon your purchase, they then ship you a set merchandise. So a t-shirt, for example. So you're not only owning the digital element, but you're also owning a real world piece, and it's occurring in the same transaction. And that sounds like it's kind of going along the lines of what John was saying about what if you could be able to mint something and have it exist at the same time. The other element is that if you go back over to Gamma, the Gamma.io, and you check out their roadmap, there's a couple sections that's blocked out. What I did is I highlighted those, copied and pasted it, so then I was able to read what it said. And what it said is that they were planning on being a multi-chain based NFT series. And they were talking about Harmony and I think Ethereum and one other one. And if we look back on Safemoon version 1, Safemoon version 1 did have a bridge set up to both Ethereum, and a lot of people may not know this, but it also had a bridge set up over to Harmony. I don't know how many people proactively used it. Not a lot of people were actually talking about it, but there's an opportunity that's there that could go into the Safemoon blockchain, the Safemoon NFTs. There might be the incorporation of the wind turbines there. I'm kind of looking at Gate.io, and Houdui is the stuff that's going on with the wind turbines. That's just where I'm kind of at on that at the moment. Okay, if there's no other thoughts from you guys on Gamma, we're going to go and move on to the next topic. Okay, the next topic is the 1-year anniversary. John had teased that they are working on something. They're planning something for the 1-year anniversary. What do you guys think that it could be? Let's go ahead and start with RJ.
Let's get back.
Well, that wasn't awkward.
That was a good one.
We'll give him a minute. We're going to come back to RJ. Let's go ahead and start with Generation Crypto.
Oh boy. Sorry guys, you have to speak this.
He's surprised. RJ is surprised every time I bring him up, like as if he doesn't know that we're doing this space right now.
Like a deer in headlights. So yeah, as far as the 1-year anniversary, I mean that's coming up in March. So I mean it could be one of the two major things that are set to come. It could be the blockchain, it could be the exchange, it could be a whole slew of things. Maybe they're getting they're approaching kind of the final details of what they need to get those things implemented. And they thought, okay, well then what day do we release this? Well, what would be better than the 1-year anniversary? So I could see something like that being there, or it could have its own moment and it could be its own thing. It could be something we have no idea about. So I think it's kind of the sky's the limit as far as speculation as to what that thing could be. It could be something super small. It could be something huge. So we just don't know.
Back to you, RJ.
Yeah, listen. In March, we don't know. Listen, I can't be on when Adam is trolling so hard.
Yo, Milo
This
be
guy is
laughing at you.
trolling me. This
Milo
guy's
be
trolling me
laughing at you,
so hard.
bro.
All right, so yeah. Adam, get out of here, bro. You need to mute your mic. March can be anything. It could be the blockchain. It could be the exchange. I don't know.
Oh,
Bro, I'm literally
like the
crying.
blooper segment.
Oh my
Generation
God.
Crypto fell out of his seat and his camera went off.
Oh man, my mask is blushing.
Bro, I'm dying
I
here.
can't. Adam is a troll. Man, he's cracking me up.
What was in that tea, bro?
I think your wife spiked the coffee.
Tim, move on. You guys should take this.
I can take
Yeah,
this
let me
because I know for
take some
sure. I know
water.
100% what they're doing on the 1 year anniversary. They are getting cake, and they are going to have fireworks, and I can almost guarantee that that's going to happen. So if you guys want to fly out to Utah with me in March, we can get some cake from John. I'm pretty sure there's not going to be any pineapple on it. That I know for sure because he hates pineapples, or maybe he just hates it on pizza. But I could tell you they're definitely going to have some freaking cake. That's what I think.
Oh man, so yeah, this is very cool because I actually come from a world where I used to play a lot of gacha games. There's a game I used to play called Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. I'm getting a little nerdy right here. I was in that game for about 4 anniversaries. Every single anniversary, there is the best character. You know, 1 year it was Super Gogeta. The next year it was Blue Vegito. The next year, Super Saiyan Blue Kaioken Goku. So every year for the anniversary, they drop the best character. The best character. Obviously, that's way different. This is blockchain. This is not some kind of Dragon Ball Z game. But saving the best for when it matters. For example, we know when it comes to Q1, the exchange, the blockchain, 2 exchange listings, more information about Project Fenix. In Q1, March is within that Q1. I would imagine they would save at least the exchange or blockchain for their anniversary release. Why? Hype, marketing, publicity. 1 year anniversary of Safemoon. On that day, they release their blockchain, and then that's obviously massive FOMO. So I would imagine they would save at least something massive for that, along with the cake and along with the potential pineapples and spiked coffee. Along with that, should in my mind come something incredible that's going to make that date far more valuable versus them just making a tweet saying, "Congrats, Safemoon Army, we've made it to a year." I feel like there's going to be something on that date release. What is it? Something else we don't know about? I don't know. But historically, when it comes to my involvement of anniversary celebrations of either games or events, they want that to be remembered. They want it to be special. So they're going to have something. I don't know what it is. I can't speculate. I'm thinking the blockchain, although I think it might be more in February, but we'll see. Yeah.
As far as for my thoughts on this, I would say that it's pretty safe to assume they're going to have some sort of a marketing video that's really hype, and everybody's going to be trending and sharing that. Celebrating the fact that we hit 1 year, a recap of some of the major milestones. I could see at least one video that's incorporating that. What I would love to see is the exchange and the blockchain come out beforehand, maybe just a little bit beforehand, but we reveal something new. Because I always go back to what Ryan has talked about. We only know 10 to 15% of what they're actually working on behind the scenes. There's all this stuff that's part of Dark Moon that we don't know. And there's a lot of stuff that they may not have given us any clues on, whether it be because of it just being too big of a risk because of the NDAs they've already signed. But we've got 3 months for them to be able to be rolling out new features and services and products and things like that until the actual 1 year anniversary. So if that 1 year anniversary video comes out and we already have the exchange and the blockchain, there's momentum that's building on there. We're going to have a lot of new users coming on board at that point in time. So me personally, I see more value in having the exchange and the blockchain out before the 1 year release. And then you drop some huge bomb of some super exciting thing so that all the people that are already onboarded on these major exchanges, on the Safemoon exchange, the Safemoon blockchain, they have something new to look forward to. And if it actually does have a hard set date, which I know that they're trying not to do, but if they have something that is completed, that is not something that we're aware of yet, and it has a hard set date, I feel like that is just going to be blowing up all over the media. People are going to be really paying attention on the day for a marketing opportunity. And this kind of stuff very well can end up on the news. We've had it on Fox Business News. We've had people like Dave Portnoy, who's gone on and he's discussed about his investment into SafeMoon. We very well could see this coming up a lot more, especially as the market cap grows. Now that we're on version 2, you're going to have a lot of new wallet holders for sure coming in. And if you release it on more exchanges, there's an opportunity here where SafeMoon could be getting back onto the official listed top 100 list. Although I think it's already technically there. It's just they haven't put in the information in CoinMarketCap or CoinGecko yet. But then it could start moving up to the ranks being saying, hey, this thing looks like it's getting ready to overtake Shiba Inu or Dogecoin. And look at all the different things that they're getting ready to release. So I think there's a lot of opportunity moving forward for sure. And the 1 year special, whatever it is, I bet it's going to be awesome.
It would be great to save the Bittmart buyback for the 1 year. I think that'd be awesome.
I don't know. A lot of people are getting. You got hashtag win Bittmart in your name. I don't know if people want to wait till March.
Yeah, Jesus.
So if you actually think about that though, so right now we are owed, I think it was 29 or 28 billion SafeMoon after consolidation. That amount of SafeMoon bought back on the charts on the day of anniversary. That is massive marketing alone. Now, I don't think they should wait that long, but it would be a really cool strategic play. It will piss people off, but we waited X amount of additional weeks for the version 2. We waited X amount of additional weeks for the wallet. Now we're waiting X amount of additional weeks for the blockchain and exchange based off of the previous time frame. I know the whole company restructured, but we're about call it a little over 8 weeks from that initial date. Almost 8 weeks in a day. So it's an 8-week wait, but for incredible hype, incredible FOMO, a massive green candle that we probably would never, ever see again. I think it'll be great marketing. I don't think it'll be great when it comes to people and their patience, but it'll be great marketing.
So the Win Bittmart is a topic that has really been brought up to light from primarily last night. A lot of people are talking about it over in the Twitter space, the Safemoon After Dark, and it's been really trending all over social media. So this is a topic that we're going to be discussing right now. Moonboy, I know you touched on it a little bit. If you have some more thoughts in the end, after I bring up the other guests to start getting their thoughts on this, feel free to chime back in. But I would love to know what everyone's thoughts are about the buyback, the delay that's going on so far, and just any kind of feedback.
Obviously, the buyback needs to happen. I know a lot of people are wondering if it ever will. It's definitely going to happen. If they don't do it, it opens them up to a whole slew of liability issues if they don't. And so that's the last thing that you would want as an exchange is to open yourself up to liability for lawsuits. So that's the last thing that you're going to want. It's going to happen. As to why it hasn't happened yet, I have no idea. I'm honestly surprised it hasn't happened yet. And I think the longer they drag this out, the more it drags their Bittmart's name to the mud. So hopefully it happens soon, and hopefully we can get over this hump and we can come together as an army to get past this and move on to the next step.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bittmart wanted to buy back on V1. They didn't want to buy back on V2. And when SafeMoon locked down, now this is a theory that I heard from SafeMoon After Dark, and I agree with it. And so when John Caroni saw what was happening with the arbitrage and they shut down V1 and they couldn't buy in V1 anymore, they had to go in and buy V2 at the higher price. I think they were just waiting, or they had some sort of something just went wrong between the two discussions. Now, this is just theory, and they didn't buy back because they wanted to buy back and get in at a lower price on V1 and not have to buy into V2. So now that V2's price shot up after the advertising and everything else that's going on with it and the release of the video, and I think that brought a lot of hype to the project. I think now it's a lot more costly to buy back. Had they bought it back right when it happened, or like they did with the other projects, they would have got in and maybe around 40 or a 30 or $40 million buy, but now it's close to more like an 80 to $85 million buy to get back those tokens. So it's substantially more money to get back in. And I think that's one of the reasons why they're holding out, because they planned on doing it. But then I think maybe, SafeMoon got smart and said, look, they're going to pull one over on us. Let's just shut down one. They should have bought in on when they had the chance. They didn't do it. Now they have to buy in on two, and Bittmart didn't want to. And that's why we're at a stalemate right now. And so I think that's kind of why we're in the situation that we're in. So what do you guys think about that?
I think there's definitely a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. Adams, don't even. I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know and are privy to, right? First and foremost, just like just like Tim said, you know, we are at a stalemate. They could have bought in when it was low, when it was V1, and then they implemented the 100% tax, and now we're on V2. The price is steadily climbing, right? I think there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that we don't know, such as the fact that the question still remains, right? Is Bittmart going to get taxed the 10%? We don't know, right? And a lot of people are half and half on that side of the coin. Some people are like, yeah, we should definitely tax Bittmart. And then there's the other half that's like, well, if you want to continue pursuing this partnership, then we don't know if we should tax Bittmart. So I think there's definitely a lot of discussion and back and forth between, I believe, Safemoon and Bittmart to try and come to an agreement for Bittmart's buyback. Definitely, we are all on the same page here that it has to happen relatively quickly. They can't continue to prolong and drag this out, guys, right? It looks bad on Bittmart. So that's my 2 cents.
Listen, they just bought themselves some time. They promised everybody that they're going to buy back. Everybody was like, oh, they're buying back. I told everybody this was going to happen. I was like, they're not buying back anytime soon. Everybody's like, nah, they're going to buy back in a week. Whatever reasons they're not buying back, and actually that makes sense. I didn't think of that reason, that the price went up for, V2 and they just wanted to win through arbitrage. That makes a lot of sense. Who knows what's going to happen? They definitely need to buy back, but hate is a funny thing. When you're angry at somebody, it goes away really, really fast. So now it's a month and a half later. Less and less people are aware, less and less people are thinking, less and less people are talking about it, and they're going to survive. Even if they don't pay back, they will survive at this point. So we'll see what's going to happen, but I think they will pay back.
So I've got a couple thoughts on this. First off, let me ask you guys, this is kind of a redundant question, but how do you buy Safemoon right now? You can't buy it with dollars, right? You have to buy a cryptocurrency and use that as an exchange. Bitcoin is something that looks like it's in the pipeline, but right now we've got BNB. If you're looking at Safemoon, you got Ethereum. So you're talking about a crypto trade for a crypto. There's no direct on-ramp at the moment. So that's what Bittmart is going to have to work with to start with. So then you have to ask yourself, where is the funding coming from that Bittmart would be paying in order to acquire Safemoon specifically? There's still other cryptocurrencies that are out there, and that's another topic I'll kind of touch on here in a second. But the fact that they have to be able to acquire Safemoon and make a trade, it's going to be more beneficial for them based on certain laws. The whole crypto industry itself is a little bit vague, but as soon as they do convert it over to dollars, then it's a capital gains based event. They're a company that's handling this kind of stuff. So if they have certain assets, if they have Bitcoin, and they're saying, well, we need dollars, all right? We got to sell our Bitcoin so that we can get these dollars and then trade it over to another cryptocurrency. Well, that's going to cost them a lot in taxes in order to try to do all that. So sure, it has sort of a tie to the fact that they had money that was stolen, but it's just easier and it's a lot more efficient if they trade one cryptocurrency to another. Second thing is that maybe they have investors. I kind of touched on this before, but if you have a company, you have certain milestones. Sometimes with the investors, they procure you an additional set of funding once these milestones have been hit or during a certain set period of time. And so Bittmart might be saying, look, we don't have enough money on hand in order to be able to pay for these losses. But if we wait until this period of time, we can be able to do so. Is there anything that we could potentially do right now until then in order to reduce down these expenses? Because obviously the markets are volatile. We don't know if these specific cryptocurrencies are going to be way higher or not. And that's where a lot of the discussions come in, to where maybe they can do partial buys right now. That the tie-in with version 1, how John was saying that they might end up doing a little bit there, but a lot of it's going to be on version 2. That doesn't really look like that's going to be the case now. And then you also have insurance, right? So if they have any kind of insurance backing them, which a lot of the crypto stuff don't have, but some do, insurance can be a pain in the arse. It can be a very timely thing. My friend, my roommate, right? He's been waiting over a year and a half since he had a car accident, and he still hasn't been paid from the other person's fault to him. So that's a long time. And I'm not trying to scare anyone. I'm not trying to say that it's going to take that long. But I think there's a lot of different avenues that this could be going down. And I'm totally on the same page with everyone else. They need to get this figured out soon. And if they don't figure it out soon, they better start improving on their communications, because a lot of people are getting upset and it's going to cause a whole slew of problems. Moonboy, did you have some more thoughts you wanted to talk about this?
Maybe just one point additional. So I'm not sure if they're going to buy back the amount of Safemoon tokens or just buy back the USD value loss. We know that it was 28 trillion tokens, but at the time, I think that was worth about $40 million. Are they going to just buy back the $40 million, regardless of whatever the current price is? Is that their play, or do they actually buy the 28 billion, which is obviously double when the hack actually took place? But I feel like if there's any hurdle, it's probably the difference in price currently. Obviously, I don't know. I don't have any inside information. This isn't much of anything that I know. In fact, I was talking about tax. I don't know anything about tax. I'm actually learning about tax by being here with you guys and you guys talking about tax on what seems to be every single stream, because I don't pay tax. I never pay tax in my life. But I feel like the actual cost is the big hurdle now. Now, whether that's an insurance play or the difference in cost of token is up, so buying back that amount of tokens is way too significant for them. I'm in the camp to where, regardless, it does need to happen sooner rather than later. So
I will say, when it comes to buying back, they're going to have to make the move to buy back the exact number of tokens. Because if I was a holder in Bittmart, I'd be, livid if I found out that they were just going to replace the dollar amount, and I lost out on those potential gains for something that wasn't my fault, right? So they would just open a new can of worms for themselves, a new set of issues that they would have to deal with. And that opens them up to a lot of exposure for litigation. So they don't want to do that. But I agree with what Atlas was saying. I work in the insurance industry, and these things are not as easy as they appear to be on the surface. There's a lot of complication behind with underwriting and other things that goes on, because they have to verify a lot of things. Because as much as the insurance industry gets a lot of hate, and I understand why, there is a lot of legalese and laws around how insurance companies can function and the protocol on how things need to be done. So it puts a lot of red tape around what can and cannot be done. So if it ends up going through the insurance process, it can take forever, and that will hold up things for months, and like you said, it could even be years.
Speaking of complications, something else I wanted to touch on is, think about a scenario where they don't make the purchase of all these cryptocurrencies at the same time. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I tried looking up news articles about it. I tried looking up on Twitter. I don't see anything that says that Bittmart has actually purchased back some of those cryptocurrencies to their wallet holders, whether it be the Shiba Inu or the Saitama, anything like that. Have you guys seen anything confirming that they've actually bought some?
Yeah, I heard last night from Saitama owners that they did buy back the Saitama tokens already. So that they bought back, and I heard they bought back the SHIB from SHIB owners as well. So they said that both of those tokens are already bought back. They said so far, from what they could see, the only ones that weren't bought back were the Safemoon ones.
Okay, so if that's the scenario, then I hope that a lot more of their marketing team is going to make it publicly known. I had very hard time trying to find this, and one of the things that it made me think of was that, imagine if the word gets out that, yeah, for sure Bittmart has made these purchases. Then a lot of people are going to be like, well, they did this one, they did that one. That means Safemoon is next, so they're going to buy it back at whatever price it is, right? So let's just rally it and screw them over, kind of a thing. If you just coordinated a purchase, so you acquire all the assets that were stolen for the wallet holders, and you kind of do it, behind the scenes, you're like coordinated, boom, it's all done, then nobody can potentially try and rally certain cryptos and get them to kind of be a pump and dump scenario, and it royally screws them over. Because at the end of the day, you got 29 billion Safemoon that needs to get replaced on version 2. So whatever the price is per Safemoon is what they're going to have to spend in order to acquire that, unless there was some sort of an exception. So if it starts to make a significant rally, then they're going to be out a lot more fiscal dollars by comparison. But it sounds like, from what you're saying, that they've already started making those moves. Fingers crossed, guys. Let's hope that it's going to be handled within the course of this week. If they're handling some of the other assets already, then the insurance things and stuff we're talking about, it sounds like it's already being taken care of. Were there any final thoughts on this until we get to the last topic, and then we'll open up the floor for community questions? Okay, so the last topic that we're going to be discussing, guys, is when Bitcoin and Doge pairing. This is something that's been talked about, and now that we have version 2 out, we have the Safemoon swap out. We got Safemoon Sunday coming up this Sunday, guys. So everyone keep an eye out for social media. I don't know if this one's going to be announced for over in their office because they did move in, right? We might end up seeing a Twitch stream once again, or this one might temporarily be over on Twitter. But what are your guys' thoughts? Do you think that we are going to be getting the Bitcoin and Dogecoin pairings anytime soon? And let's start with Generation Crypto.
Yeah, I think they'll be soon. I think the most likely time is when we get on an exchange, because there was a lot of talk back then as that was kind of the issue with getting onto an exchange, was being able to pair with Bitcoin, Dogecoin, these other methods. So obviously when we get on an exchange, there will be some pairings that way on whatever exchange that is. We don't know yet. That's when I would assume that is. So when we get those exchanges, it's going to be around the same time we'll get those pairings. Of course, we're also going to have Bitcoin and Dogecoin implemented into the Safemoon wallet as well, coming up soon. And with with the Wallet Connect feature, that could be much sooner than we thought it was originally. So I think it's going to be very soon. I think it's within this quarter.
They're going to pair with Bitcoin when we get on an exchange. I agree as well. They need the exchange to pair. Right now, they're pairing with everything BEP20s, right? They didn't pair with anything outside of it. They're not going to be able to pair with them on the wallet. I mean, it's physically impossible, as far as I understand.
I would agree with everyone so far. It's just going to help them get on exchanges. And so as soon as they get listed on an exchange, that's when you'll see the pairings. So I think that's when it's going to happen. Is that going to be soon? I don't know. I have a theory that they're still waiting on some technology to get finished before they're going to start jumping on these exchanges. So we'll just see. We'll see if that comes to fruition.
Yeah, so same thing what Adam and Tim was saying, right? People need to understand that we are still on Binance's blockchain. So you can't just randomly insert Bitcoin and Dogecoin in the Safemoon swap because we are not on our own blockchain yet. So the only way to get those pairings is to get on a major exchange. Now the only way to get the other pairings onto Safemoon swap is, of course, when we release our own blockchain, which right now is an unknown time frame. So you can listen to that message several different ways when John says, hey, the next pairings we want to implement is Bitcoin and Dogecoin. When he says stuff like that, you would assume that he's talking about the SafeMoon ecosystem, which means the only way that can be implemented is if we release our own blockchain. Now, if we want immediate pairings, we have no choice but to get on a major exchange.
Yeah, to pair those cryptocurrencies in a Safemoon wallet, the only thing that makes sense to me is to do the Binance Peg versions of those, which is pegged one-to-one with those specific assets. But I feel like the big benefit will come when we do this on exchange, due to the pairing of having less zeros being easier to purchase with Bitcoin specifically. It doesn't really benefit much at all. But I feel like when we do get on our two exchanges that we know that should be up and coming in Q1, we're going to see the benefit of what that's going to offer. But there's not much benefit when it comes to it being in the wallet right now due to us still being on the BSC network. There's way more benefit for that actually being a part of the conversation when we're on our own blockchain. So, yeah.
Yeah, I would say I agree with you guys on this. As far as for Safemoon, when it gets migrated over to version 2, I don't know if there will be any sort of coding that they design with that's going to make it more easy for them to potentially do something. But I think the blockchain independently on its own is going to be the best case scenario, or getting listed onto some of these other major exchanges. So as far as for the major exchanges go, there's been rumors about KickEX, with KuCoin, with KuCoin, that we could end up seeing it coming soon to that. Does anyone want to lightly touch on that and just say whether you think that there's a good chance there or not?
There's absolutely a good chance. And Adam did release a video on it. If you guys take a look at KuCoin Sandbox, right, Safemoon is on there. And of course, what happens in a sandbox, for those that don't know, aren't familiar with technology, sandbox is an environment where you're allowed to test almost everything that would be on a production environment. And so it's a good topic that Adam brought up, that what can they possibly be testing on a sandbox environment? It would make sense that it is tokenomics, right? They're looking to see how tokenomics would be working on an exchange like KuCoin, because as we had already said earlier in the videos or earlier in this live chat, is we do not know of any successful crypto right now that has implemented tokenomics in any major exchange, right? So I have a very good feeling that KuCoin may be potentially one of them. And I personally like KuCoin, so hopefully that's one of them.
To bring up one extra point with KuCoin, they are familiar with burning, so they have their own token, KCS, and they do a 10% of their fees buyback every month, and they buy it and they literally burn their own tokens. So even though it's a different type of burning, they are familiar with the burning aspect.
All right, if there's no other thoughts on that, let's go ahead and open the floor to community questions. We've had some super chats that have already come through. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're watching the stream right now, feel free. If you still have a question, we might be able to squeeze you in here. We do have some time available. And also, thank you everyone that has hit the thumbs up like button. If you guys haven't yet done so, it does help us out with this. I again want to make a note that each of the other content creators that are on the panel right now, I have a link to all of their channels in the description. So if you'd like to check one of us out, all of us out, feel free to subscribe. We appreciate all of your guys' support, and we're very thankful to be here and to be able to provide a lot of this information that we're finding out and being able to share it with you guys. So let's see. So first off, we've got a super sticker that came from Backslap. Thank you for that. Let's see. Scrolling down here. Next up, we have Satoshi Safemoon Bets, who said, "What up, family? I got a good one for you guys. Do you think that Web 3.0 will stop the stock market manipulation at some point? It's insane, brothers."
All right, I guess I can talk on it if no one wants to. So for those who don't know what Web 3.0 is, because I know it's been thrown around recently, it's basically the decentralized version of the internet. That's like the simplest way I can explain it. So yes and no. So if we're talking about it being on a blockchain, then absolutely, because if the stock market's on a blockchain and everything is visible for everyone to see and everyone can see exactly what trades were made to when, and we can't make basically false representations of trades or stocks, then you can't manipulate it in that way. So I think, is there a way to manipulate it? I mean, you can manipulate cryptocurrency right now, so that they can still be price manipulated. There's a lot of other ways that things can still be manipulated, even on a blockchain. But as far as underhanded tactics that are technically illegal in most cases, those things will become brought to light and very viewable to the open public because it will all be on the blockchain. So it will mitigate or remove a lot of those kind of backhanded tactics in a lot of ways because it will become public. But there's still going to be manipulation of different kinds because there's still psychological manipulation of holders. You know, you can have large people selling, causing a price decrease, then someone buying back in for the lower pricing. All those things that happen in crypto can still happen even on Web 3.0.
I think that a lot of the value that a blockchain technology is going to bring to the future, because this was an eventual scenario, is that when you look at the stock market, a lot of the people that are in the stock market that are upset is because there's a lack of transparency. There's a lot of laws that are set in place that work more heavily in favor of groups like, for example, hedge funds as compared to the regular retail investor. And if you have a blockchain technology, you can clearly identify where each stock is. So if a company produces a series of stock, right, you got 10 million of these shares of stock that exist out there, you can clearly identify that there are 10 million, where they're currently located in their wallet addresses. And then when it comes time, especially if you're a hedge fund or you're somebody that needs to do your reporting, how are you going to be able to fake those things? Because if you use the cryptocurrency system, you have a KYC, which is a know your customer. In order to sign up for Coinbase or Gemini, you got to provide a lot of credentials to identify to the United States government that you are legitimately who you say you are. And when you look at short selling and these sort of different mechanics, the blockchain technology will help make it much more clear where these positions are being played in, especially if you can find a way to do it with smart contracts. And I think that a big question that everyone should be asking is what company is going to be making this technology first, and that the whole stock market is going to say, hey, we're going to go use their tools. Because whatever company it is, if they can find solutions to these problems, and the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, everything else gets built off of that, that could be a huge business opportunity itself. I don't think that Safemoon is having any plans of going that route, You never know for something like this, but I think it's an untapped industry that Web 3.0 could really play in. And Adam, I don't know how much you caught of this, but the question was just kind of saying what our thoughts are on Web 3.0 and how that could play in with the stock market manipulation some point in the future.
Can I just respond really quickly before we move over to Adam? I don't think that Wall Street's going to enthusiastically make this transition over, because it gives away kind of their upper hand, if that makes sense. The ace up their sleeve is now removed. So anyone that's on Wall Street and the people that are going to lobby politicians for Wall Street are going to probably try to do everything within their power to not go over to a blockchain when it comes to the stock market. It's going to have to be forced upon them. And your regular average politician isn't going to have any excitement to do it either, because they also benefit from a lot of the things that come out of hedge funds. So in order for that transition to actually happen, there's going to have to be some strong arming, and it's going to have to come from the public. And the only time that's going to be possible is when the public has a better generalized understanding of how blockchain works. So Web 3.0 is going to be implemented in other areas first, like social media and video games and everywhere else. And then once that has become normalized and people now understand it, the stock market and politics is going to be one of the last things that moves over, because they have the most to gain from staying off of a blockchain.
I agree with that 100%. They're going to try to stay away from it as much as they can, because there's just so much corruption in that space that once you bring that to a blockchain and everything's on an open ledger and everyone could see it and they can't mute it, that they're not going to like that. So they're just going to try to steer away from it. And I think that's the great part about a blockchain is it like kind of pushes out corruption, because you could see everything. And that's not something they want to let go of, because they, like what Generation Crypto was saying, is they thrive on this. They thrive on being able to have the upper hand and being able to use their corruption to further push other people down. And if you try to make it a level playing field, they're not going to be happy with it. So they're going to just make sure they stay away from it.
Next question that we have is from Dano Blockchain, who said, first, Atlas, keep that acting career moving. Second, hashtag boycott Bittmart if they don't buy back in the next 2 weeks. Remember the 5th of November. I like what you did there. All right, let's see. Where's the next one?
Awesome movie, by the way.
It came out on my birthday, actually.
What?
Yeah, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day.
Wow. I love it.
Fun little side fact there. 1010 Buns, very nice supporter of the channel. And 1010 Buns also was able to help provide some of the research notes in one of my recent videos. I did give them a shout out, thank you. And that was in regards to the wind turbine from Operation Fenix's video and just the dynamics of the flow that we were seeing in those display models, the capture with the 20,000 frames per second, that kind of a thing. So thank you very much for your support, 1010. All right, let's see. If you guys have questions, feel free to submit them in. I am primarily looking through for super chats because I know there are people that sent them in earlier. We just have a lot of comments. Bearclaw says, thank you for all the knowledge and time that you guys share. We appreciate you all. By the way, did someone check that Adam doesn't have any pens on his desk tonight? LOL.
I love you, Bearclaw. Fuck you.
Michael Sturdivant says, these guys are the heroes we need, but not the heroes we deserve. RJ Adonis fan club, hashtag goodie with the hoodie. I love it. You know, not all heroes wear masks either, but I decided to wear one, so. I'm just kidding. Let's see. Next question. Scrolling on down here. And if you guys if we end up with too much of a delay as me searching, you have something you want to chime in, it's fine. Next question is, what's with the mask and the duck? So powered by StreamYard is the tool service that I'm using, but I am on a free-based account. Otherwise, I've got to pay like $20 a month. This is not a service that I proactively use all the time, and it's just something as a watermark I'm not able to remove. As far as for the mask, it's something I've been playing with. If you guys go and check out the previous roundtables, which have been hosted on somebody else's channel every week, you'll find out that I've been wearing something different each time. So it's just a little fun element that I'm bringing to the table. I try to provide as intelligent of information as possible, but I'm a fun, silly, kind of goofy guy. And I want to be able to express that in a live environment and just kind of give you guys a little bit more of an idea of the personality I am.
I love it, brother.
And next question. Yeah, and you guys got to wonder what am I going to wear next week, right? So we got the great Gooch, I think is how you say the name. Honestly, guys, why is Joe not here anymore?
He hates me. He hates my stupid face. No, I don't know.
thought he hated me. No.
Well, he hates our stupid faces, but you're wearing a mask, so he can't hate you this week.
That's why I'm wearing the mask. I thought maybe he'd come.
I heard he's busy. He has a lot of conflicting schedules, and he also has a family. My family doesn't like that I do this all the time, but they have to deal with it.
I was joking, just so anyone's watching the stream, don't take that literally. Why is Atlas hiding his face? I already answered that question.
He's got hickeys on it.
Thank you for the donation, the great Gooch. I appreciate that. And then we have Chris Little, who says, your thoughts on Bittmart buyback situation? Do you think it's going to happen? This probably came before we ended up discussing all of that. But yeah, just a very brief recap is that we think that it very well could end up being soon. We're frustrated just like everyone else, and we're waiting on more detailed information. Then we have the great Gooch once again. Safemoon Joe likes black ice air fresheners.
I heard that. I'm not sure if it's true. It might be speculation, but I heard that. Yeah.
Interesting.
All right, what's
Puts him on his
everyone's
motorcycle.
favorite Christmas tree car freshener?
Ooh. I actually get migraines from scented things, so I don't like any of them.
I actually don't have a car. I haven't had one for a couple of years, but if I had to go with the scent, probably would be something like a Hawaiian ocean breeze smell.
Russians, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Adam. Go ahead.
Russians just drive with the vodka open. That's it.
Get pulled over. That'll be fun.
It's the air freshener, I swear.
Okay, next one is from Ro H, who says, can you offload your Safemoon to cold storage and still receive accurate reflections? Also, if you transfer to cold storage, is there the transaction fee? Thoughts? RJ, I feel like you've got a good answer to this. Am I correct?
Yeah, so a lot of people ask questions like, can I offload my Safemoon to my cold storage wallet? Just remember, guys, that your cryptos, everything is always on the blockchain. It's a really, really deep conversation, and it is a steep learning curve, especially for me when I started using the LPal wallet. What you're doing is you are exporting your private keys on the cold storage wallet. So what you have to do is when you initiate a transaction, you sign that transaction offline. So any network hackers trying to search the chain right now for any private keys being signed on a hot wallet, they cannot see that transaction signed offline. That is the purpose of a cold storage wallet. So with that being said, no, there is no transaction fee unless you're not physically moving your Safemoon, guys, into a cold storage wallet. Okay, so for example, this LPal wallet that I have, right? I've exported the private keys onto here. That's all you do. So I hope that answered that question.
Can I give an analogy to help people understand that concept? So it's like you're at a bank, right? And so you've got this big old wall, and it's got all of these different locks, and you open the lock and open that little door, and inside is all of your little goodies, your gold, your dollars, or whatever. In this case, it's your Safemoon, and that entire wall of things is the blockchain. So your private key is your individual key that gives you access to your coins in your little wallet, which is on the blockchain. So most people, when they have it on an exchange or they have it just on a regular wallet, the key stays in the slot, but you're the only one who has permission to turn it to open the door. When you have a hard wallet, when you have a cold storage wallet, you're taking the key completely out of the lock. So if someone wants to sneak by and look when the bank tellers aren't looking and wants to try to turn a key without permission and open it up and steal the stuff out, they can't do it because there's no key even in the lock. So it just adds an extra layer of protection. Even though you're the only one allowed because you're the only one with permissions to turn the key, and it's generally safe as long as you're not sharing your seed phrase with other people, the hard wallet just gives that extra little bit of protection for you guys. But the actual things that you have doesn't change locations in any way.
Yeah, and something really important to notate, right, is a lot of people think that once you have a cold storage wallet, you are forever protected. That's not true. If you're still careless with your you're not staying vigilant on your side, and you accidentally click on a malicious link and someone gets a hold of your seed phrase, it's over. There's no
Yep.
cold storage wallet that can protect you from that if someone gets a hold of your seed phrase, or you happen to unfortunately willy-nilly give it out to some fake support, which I hope by now you guys aren't clicking on any malicious links or falling victim to any of these fake support Twitter concepts that's all over the place right now, right? So cold storage wallet, like Generation says, just adds a layer of protection so that you're signing these transactions offline as opposed to online. But make sure that you guys don't ever give away your seed phrase. That is the ultimate keys. That's the master keys.
Yeah, and if I let anyone believe that your seed phrase is safe if you're offline, that's not the case. If that's what I was trying, if that's what anyone interpreted that as, that's not what I was saying at all. Never give that out, even if you're on a cold storage wallet.
And nobody from the Safemoon team will ask you for your seed phrase. If you see anyone that's asking that, they're not actually working at Safemoon, or there's a whole other serious question that needs to be asked. But they don't do that.
And none of us will do it either, because I know there's a lot of times our profiles get copied, our names get copied in comment sections.
All the time.
They're asking you to go to WhatsApp, or they're asking you to go direct message somewhere else,
Telegram,
email, Telegram, whatever. We will never, all of us here on the panel, will never, ever, ever ask for your seed phrases either. I don't care if we're helping you personally. We've decided to DM you directly to help you with a personal matter with fixing things for you. We will never ask for that seed phrase. So if someone asks, it's not actually us.
I will
RJ,
never
sorry,
ask you to go to.
Yeah, I just have one question for RJ. So I know that you have your crypto on a cold wallet, but you also have this app that displays the crypto. I've never actually used a cold wallet. I'm thinking about getting one for the purpose of more security. But that display that you have with your app, is it that you upload your seed phrase on both the app and the cold storage, or is that some login feature that you can see the your assets on the app?
Can you repeat the last 10 seconds? You're breaking up for me.
Yeah, so how you have the app where you can display the crypto assets that you have in the wallet, is that due to the fact that you have private keys also in the app and the cold storage, or is it that you have some kind of login feature like a QR code that just lets you see the visuals that you have in your cold storage?
Yeah, so the LPAL Titan pad, this is where you import your private keys. Okay. In order to initiate a transaction, you have to have the LPAL application on your phone. Now, once you've imported your wallets in here, it generates a QR code that you scan on the LPAL application, and then it ties that together, right? So I've actually completely deleted MetaMask and Trust Wallet from my phone. All I have is the LPAL app and the Safemoon app right now. That's why I was actually interested to see if that Wallet Connect feature was working on the web swap, because if so, I might make some moves here. But yeah, no more MetaMask, no more Trust Wallet. It's just the LPAL application and Safemoon. When I want to initiate anything from MetaMask, I get into the LPAL application. And then if I want to get into, let's say, Uniswap, they have that feature inside LPAL app that goes into like their own browser that connects into your MetaMask inside LPAL, and you can initiate transactions that way, and it signs everything offline. It's really, really slick. It's not as intuitive to learn. Absolutely, I had to take some time to play around with it, but it's absolutely fresh. I mean, I can get in here, and you can access PancakeSwap. You can access any DApps inside the LPAL application, and we know that DApps are relatively it's the wild, wild west, right? You have to be careful when you're inside a DApps, but when you're accessing a DApps inside an LPAL application, it gives you that layered security. So it's actually really, really cool.
Awesome.
Next statement is from the great Goosh. This is for RJ.
What happened? Yeah, I saw that.
It says that I want to smoke some weed with you.
Me too. Why not? And I
You
don't
guys
even
are
do it
hoot.
right.
We have Safemoon Oz version 2, who says this week's AMA will be telling indeed. Love this group. Shout out to the Aussies watching and listening too.
Oh, this
Love that
guy's
guy.
awesome.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's awesome. Cheers.
The great Goosh once again. Ring, ring. Hello. Who is it?
Safemoon's here.
The great Goosh having some nice fun there. If you guys have any questions, feel free to submit them. We do have some time, so we're going through the rest of these right now. Great Goosh, once again, the 20 milligram edible that RJ ate before the round table is kicking in. Here's some coffee. Whispers, you look baked.
So if people don't know this, right, I've already told everyone, like I had to get my booster shot today for COVID, and that's because I'm traveling soon. So I just wanted to dot my I's and cross my T's in case they're like, you need to have proof that you got the vaccine or whatever. We just don't know, right? So I just got it. So I'm a little woozy for sure.
Well, the Great Goose has got another question for you. Is that another edible?
He wants to smoke weed with you. He wants you to eat some edibles.
RJ, I'm dying.
These guys are hilarious, man. You guys are a hoot.
Thanks for all the super chats, by the way, everybody. Carlos Hernandez says, super sticker. Thank you for the super sticker. Be kind of cool if they had the ability to display whatever that sticker is.
Yeah, you can't see it here. You would have to go in through the actual YouTube,
YouTube.
and then you could see it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm scrolling on down here. The Great Goose, once again. Safemoon Tim, can you make some men's underwear with your logo on the front? Who?
That's what I want to buy.
That's a good idea. I will see if they have that.
Speaking of merchandise, we have been rolling out our own merchandise stores. For example, you guys can see some preview images down below my video. Who else on the panel here also has merchandise now?
Who else on the panel? What?
Has merchandise
merch.
that viewers can buy if they would like to?
I have merch.
Oh
now.
yeah, I got merch.
So everybody has it now?
I do not have merch
I
yet.
don't.
Coming soon.
There you go.
me neither.
We have Dwight James. He says, F turbines, F gamma, blockchain, centralized exchange is all we want.
That sounds like Adam right
Respect.
there. All he
I was
cares
about,
about-
sounds like me, huh?
Adam, was that
some
you?
vodka.
Was that your burner gun in there? Adam, are you
And he-
doing?
He's like, I'm donating money.
From Daniel Bach, going around the table, if you can disclose how big is your Safemoon bag currently, and how big of a bag do you guys recommend people have if they can afford it? So I can
have
answer
one
the first
Safemoon.
part if you guys want. I mean, not trying to be rude or anything, but I think the answer is for all of us here at the table, not enough for the first part of the question.
And the second part, NFA, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, not financial advice. I mean, you got to understand, guys, that you think about what your style of living is. And that could be different for everyone. I actually made a video months ago where I showed you what the value is based on certain metrics of style living of in order to retire. So the whole stigma of, oh, I need to become a millionaire. I can retire when I become a millionaire. If that was 40, 50 years ago, you'd be much more likely to be able to do that. With inflation, the cost of living expenses, taxes, and everything else that comes into play, if you're trying to go out and actually actively do things, $1 million is not going to be able to last you for a very long time. Depends on how old you are. Depends on what it is you're wanting to do with the money. Do you eat at home all the time? Or do you go out? Do you plan on traveling? Are you trying to buy a house? These are a lot of different factors that come into play that you need to be able to identify. So first off, I would ask yourself, how much do you expect to be trying to live off of every year for the rest of your life and dollar value? And then think about what size bag. And you can use tools like Safemoon Glubiz's website, in which you can kind of get a rough generalization of a forecast. How many Safemoon that you have, at what price, with reflections, those things. And that could better guide you to being able to understand your own position.
Just to add to that, there's a big difference between, a broke college student who's literally eating ramen because that's all they can afford, and then someone who's in their late 50s who owns, an entire enterprise and has several, hundreds of employees underneath them and has a bunch of money to burn. So the advice that you would give to one over the other is going to be extremely different because they have extremely different circumstances and financial situations. For some people, they may not have anything to risk, right? Like, you risking any money right now is not good because that means you're not going to be able to make rent or you're not going to be able to feed your family. So the answer for some people may be nothing, right? Because you can't afford that. And other people, a few million is pocket change. So we don't give financial advice to anybody because everyone's situation is so vastly different that even if you're a certified financial advisor, if you go look on YouTube, almost all of them don't actually say that they're giving financial advice because every situation is so unique and different. I work in the insurance industry, so I actually do give financial advice for a living. That's actually my job. That's what I do for people all the time. And I would never give financial advice on my channel because everyone's situation is so uniquely different, and the amount of money that they have and the situation they're in is so vastly different that I would never give financial advice on YouTube. And even a lot of times while I do my job, I have to be very careful about what I tell people because it puts me on the hook for liability. So we never will give that out, guys. So if you're asking how much I should buy or what's the next thing I should purchase, we're never going to tell you to buy anything. We're never going to tell you how much to purchase, and we're never going to tell you when to sell. We're here to provide education and entertainment for you guys, so you guys can learn more about what these things are about and how they work mechanically or how they're viewed in public or what have you. But we're not here to tell you what you need to do as far as when it comes to your wallet.
Yeah, and just to lightly touch on that, I also want to point out that for myself, for example, I do TA, which is technical analysis. That's not financial advice either. What you look at when you look at those charts is not to say, hey, I'm saying it's going to do this next. No, what it comes down to is it says based on historical trends, human behavior, it's a higher percentage chance based on these signs that it's going to go this way as compared to another. But as an established trader, you learn to set up stop losses and other certain principles so that you can cover yourself in case it goes the opposite direction. I'll give you a perfect scenario. If you look at major league traders, they might have a 50% success ratio. And a lot of people could look at that and be like, well, how is it that they're making any money if they're losing 50% of the time? Well, if 50% of the time you made $100,000, and the other 50% you called it wrong, but you only lost $100, then you're understanding where you need to stop and re-examine things and re-enter in. So it's not 100% success rate when you look at those charts. Always take it with a bit of a grain of salt, but it gives you generalized ideas of where it might be good entry points, where it looks like it might pull back, and then you gauge for yourself based on what you're looking at on the charts if you want to make those decisions or not. Okay, let's go ahead and move into the next question. It looks like Adam had to either bounce or he might have lost something. Did you guys see anything for notes before he bounced out?
He mentioned that he had to take off, guys.
Okay, so shout outs to Adam. His link is in the chat. If anybody's watching, you want to check out his channel. Just like the rest of ours, the links are in the description. Muhammad A says, Atlas, I'm sorry someone bought the NFT before me. Really? Oh, are you sure? I hope they did. But anyway, when is everyone coming out with their NFTs? I want to be the first to buy it in Safemoon version 2, especially you, Adam. Atlas made a similar one. So just before you guys answer that, I want to know if this is actually true or not. So let's go over to here.
Yeah, let me stop sharing my screen here.
Oh,
there you go.
Sorry, let's go over to this side. So those of you guys that don't know, there's a website. It's called explorenft.app. And yesterday, they announced that they enabled the feature to where you can mint your own NFTs, and you can choose as the creator if you want to be able to accept Safemoon version 2 as a form of payment. So I went ahead and I did a video where I showed you how you can do it. It's a very, very easy process, and I made one. So this is an art piece that I made. This is the first one. I'd like to do a continuation series, and I don't know if it's been officially bought or not. I guess I'll refresh the page here and see if something happened. I think that it may have been purchased.
Everyone in the chat has been saying all night that it's been purchased. So,
oh, okay. Well, there you go. So I plan on doing some more, and I will be sharing it on social media, on Twitter, for example. I hope you guys like this piece. This is the kind of style that I plan on doing. I may incorporate more elements in tied to the Safemoon sort of branded theme. As you guys can see, it's got a little bit of some a lot of inspiration from the Safemoon community in that, but I might do other cryptos, things like that. Thank you to whoever did make that purchase. I'm glad that I'm officially an artist, I guess. I've been paid for, so thank you so much. Now, as far as for the rest of you guys,
you sold that for 10 BNB?
I put two options. So I put 10 BNB, which is a high valued amount, but the intention was I wanted to have somebody actually spend Safemoon. I wanted to give that experience. So I set a high valued price for BNB. For Safemoon, it was only 100,000 Safemoon. So I think that comes out to around like $350 or something.
Still, that's pretty nice.
Oh, that's cool, man.
I'm gonna go check. Like, if they bought it for 10 BNB, I'm not gonna complain. You know what I mean?
Stakes on Atlas tonight.
I'm gonna be minting some NFTs up in her.
And by the way, in case you guys were wondering, because of me minting it over on the Binance Smart Chain side, it only cost me about $7 in BNB in order to get it minted up and everything. So it's a lot more affordable than if you're trying to do something on the Ethereum network.
Yeah, like
so
80 bucks to mint on Ethereum.
Speaking of NFTs, I am doing mine as well. I'm in the process of working on it now. I got delayed because I was on vacation, but I'm going to be minting 100 copies of the same NFT and selling those. I'll be doing a video explaining the details, but essentially it's going to be a sort of investment into my channel. So what I'll be doing is, if you purchase the NFT, I am guaranteeing that of course, the free market price could go up and above and beat my offer. But essentially, when I hit 100,000 subscribers on my channel, I would be willing to buy back and burn that NFT for twice the price you paid for it. So the entire concept is you're giving me money up front so that I can invest into the channel, buying better hardware, better software, that kind of a thing. So I can put more of my time into the channel and help it grow. And if you want to hold on to it till I get 100,000 subscribers, you're guaranteed at least a 2x return. And if the free market does better, then the free market does better, and that offer still stands. You're at least guaranteed a 2x. But if you're willing to hold on to it afterwards, there will be other goodies that will come down the road, such as people who hold that NFT will then be given free merch, could have the potential to be involved in other things in the future as the channel grows. So that is just going to be an option that I'm putting on the table for a lot of people if they would want to take advantage of that. So it's just an option where I'm literally guaranteeing a return on that NFT. Or if you want to keep it for a keepsake because you want to help my channel, that also helps as well. But that's kind of what I'm looking to do.
Okay, so we still have a series of super chats that have come in. I'm not exactly sure how many more that there are. And with limited time, I mean, I could technically go a little bit over. I don't know what your guys' situation is. If you have to leave, by all means, that's fine. I'm going to do the best that I can to try and go through the rest of these. So the way we're going to handle this format now is that if there's a specified question either directed to one of us, you can then answer it. If not, then I would say only one or two of us is going to chime in on that if you really feel you got something that you want to say, and then we can move on to the next question. Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay, so then we have up next 1010 Buns, who said Safemoon could have blasted the logo on the moon, and people would still say it's not as bright as the sun. Appreciate what they give us and be proud you found such a worthy investment to FUD. Hashtag Safemoon.
I love that outlook.
Yeah.
Michael Bosick, or is it pronounced Bosick? I think it's pronounced Bosick. Hopefully Grey Goose vodka. Then we have Satoshi Safemoon Bets, who said, I will try to be more active in social media. You're doing a great job. I see you over there on Twitter all the time. We got a lot of people that are doing a very good job in the community. And, I want to just, before we get into the next one, RJ, I think you handled the situation on Twitter so well. For those of the people out there that don't know what we're referring to, there's an individual YouTuber who's very proactive in promoting Dogecoin and has had an extensive history on trashing Safemoon and the Safemoon community. And I think we need to uphold ourselves as influencers to be better than that. And we are representatives of the Safemoon community. And we have an opportunity here with as much influence as we have to just really show the rest of the community and crypto in general as a leading example. This is the way that you should be behaving. We should encourage each other for the projects to move forward and to help troubleshoot different solutions to different projects. If there's something that we fall short on, there's other projects out there that very well may find the solution on it. We don't have to belittle one another. And I think RJ handled it so well.
RJ's the man.
Thanks, guys.
So Sergeant Antonio 101st Safemoon Army, 101st Safemoon Army, says, hashtag no more clicks, Matt, and still Safemoon wins. Okay. It's funny, I didn't even read that. It just kind of tied in exactly at the same moment. Lu Wao Chan says, do you think...
What? It's a horrible question.
Did I get trolled right there? I didn't realize what I said, or...
No,
that's just a crazy
No, we're
question.
good.
Okay, I didn't know if I just got trolled reading something I wasn't supposed to.
No.
I didn't even think about that one. Do you think we should legalize drugs like Coke?
Whatever, right?
Yeah, I like Coca-Cola.
I drink Coke Zero all the time.
I had a Diet Coke and pizza photo I dropped.
I think he's talking about cocaine, guys.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's talking about cocaine. I mean,
I was just making an innocent response.
I don't do drugs. If there was any kind of legality behind it, then I guess you'd have to identify the dosage, because technically, even if you drink too much water, that could kill you. So everything comes down to how much you can drink. If you drink too much alcohol, it can kill you. If you drink too much alcohol, you can't go out and drive because you're now a danger to everyone else around you. So I guess like if you legalize cocaine, you'd have to identify what is the legal quantity and how do you actually test people, let's say if they get behind the wheel, to say, hey, you're under the influence. You took too much of this drug. It's whether it be a tiny amount or a certain amount. I don't know. That's the only way I look at it.
That's a crazy question for a Safemoon specific
Yeah.
stream. Like,
yeah. Very
Very
specific.
Yeah, that gets into politics, but essentially, I'm pretty libertarian on most stuff, so that should answer the question.
Bearclaw USA says Adam needs to make a Safemoon cat suit for Milo. That'd be cute.
He should.
Justin Vine says, how hard would it be to get a Safemoon ad to play on YouTube? Or is that possible? We could do it. You could do it.
Not difficult at all. Yeah.
It's literally, guys, getting an ad on there it's literally posting a YouTube video, and then there's a thing you can do in the back side of YouTube on YouTube Studio where you can set up an ad. And then that video that you uploaded to YouTube just plays before videos. That's how all advertisers do it. So if you actually go look, you keep getting an ad for someone, they actually have a YouTube channel where all those ads are at. And so they're just getting those uploaded and then displaying them. And depending on the level of reach that you want, it can be really cheap. I mean, even you can do it to reach a few hundred people, or it can be extremely expensive if you're trying to reach like the entire platform. So the cool part about it is you can really gauge it based upon what your budget is.
So it is officially 8 p.m. I still have some more questions that I would like to go through for the community because I appreciate the fact that you guys took the time and the money to be able to send those through to us, and I don't want you to feel left out. If anyone needs to leave the panel right now, you're more than welcome to. Anyone else that can stick around, I'm going to try and go through these fairly quickly. Okay, so up next we have Carlos 66629 who says, with version 1 having the 100% tax now, is there any way we help clean up some of the dust by purposely getting rid of it and making an impact on version 2 price?
I would just leave it alone. I mean, I think it would cost money to send it anywhere. Just let it be. I mean, or just go into your custom tokens and uncheck it if you don't want to see it. I don't think there's any reason. I don't think it'll help anything if we cleaned it up.
And the contracts are different contracts now, guys. They're two different contracts. So the price of V2 and the price of V1 are going to start having a major difference over time.
We got a message for Safemoon Tim.
Make them tatty waddies. All
Make
right.
them tatty waddies.
I'll do so.
Blue Wow Chan, who says, Adam, please take care of Milo. Don't take him China, okay? That is...
Was he taking him to China?
Such a very interesting...
I'm not going to remark on that one. Well, let's go to the next one. Michael Bosick with another donation says, Adam needs his own vodka line, and it better not be the cheap crap. Better than Grey Goose.
You hear that, Adam?
Call it.
He's missing out on all these business opportunities.
Yeah, exactly. He can accept Safemoon for vodka. 1010 Bun says, Atlas can't be the first to buy an NFT with Safemoon. Sorry. Oh, wait, is 1010 the one that bought it? Wonder if that's what they're insinuating. Jonathan Goshorn says, hey, RJ, if I imported my Trust Wallet key to the cold wallet, will the BNB show up in my Safemoon wallet because it's imported from Trust Wallet?
That's okay, RJ. If I imported my Trust Wallet key to the cold wallet, will BNB show up in my Safemoon wallet? Yes. It's the exact same.
Remember, guys, stuff stays in the blockchain.
Yeah.
Muhammad A says, I was excited to buy the NFT, and then I saw it was gone. Generation Crypto, get them NFTs out. I will be the first time again if nobody beats me.
Put it for 10 BNB Crypto. You heard him.
We got a big donation.
Wow.
Thank you so much for that, Kristen. With the message, I just want to say I look forward to every Safemoon videos from you all. Keep being you. Lots of love to you, RJ. Thank you.
Ooh.
Thanks,
Very
Kristen.
nice
Yeah,
message.
Kristen is an ongoing supporter. She's been an OG in my channel, and she's always super active on the comments section. So Kristen's continued support to the Safemoon Army is definitely recognized.
Okay, so that was the last super chat that came in. We're going to be going now to closing statements from everybody. As far as for everything that we covered earlier, was there any other main topics that you guys feel that maybe we left out on that you wanted to touch on in this video with the rest of the community?
I think we're good.
Okay, so with that being said, once again, as a reminder, everyone, thank you so much for Well, actually, if you guys can, hit the like button. Aren't we 8 likes away from 500? I mean, we can
For
hit
sure.
500. I know we could do this as a community. We got 509 people. 8 people can hit that like button. I appreciate everyone else that has hit the thumbs up like button. Moonboy, Generation Crypto, RJ, as well as Safemoon Tim and Adam Bergman are our special guests that were featured on this week's roundtable. Just as a little side note, it will be featured on somebody else's channel next week. We've been taking turns with this. We don't have a designation of who's going to do it next week yet, do we?
I think it'll most likely be my channel.
Yeah,
I think
it's
I'm the only one
Moonboy.
that hasn't done a stream yet, so most likely mine.
Okay,
Nice.
so everybody, we have all the links to everybody else's channel. Obviously, you're on mine, so if you want to subscribe, feel free to subscribe. I do cover a lot of Safemoon content. Obviously, we all cover Safemoon content, and Moonboy will be hosting the roundtable next week. We also publicize this information over on Twitter, on social media. You can find more information about that, I'm sure, on each of our channels as well. I personally am at Crypto Atlas YT. Moonboy, do you have a Twitter?
Crypto Moonboy YT on Twitter. Check me out. Thank you so much, Atlas, for hosting this. I think this is our fourth or fifth episode. This is actually incredible. So I'm just very happy to be a part of it. And I do want to remind everyone about the Safemoon Sunday this Sunday, whether that's a Twitter space or on Twitch. Maybe they're going to go back on Twitch due to them having the keys to the headquarters. Either way, chime in. I'm sure most likely all of us will be streaming it and having videos recapping it. So once again, thank you, and be looking out for the AMA.
And Generation Crypto, what is your handle on Twitter?
It's Gen Crypto YT, so at GEN Crypto YT.
RJ, what is yours?
It is just at RJ Ardonis.
And Safemoon Tim.
I am known as Dark Moon Tim on Twitter, so it's at Dark Moon Tim.
And we also have Adam Bergman, who I think his is at Adam Bergman.
I think it's
Show?
Team Adam Bergman.
Or it's the Adam Bergman Show.
It might be the Adam Bergman Show. We should know. I mean, we talk to him on there all the time.
Yeah.
We just spat out 3, so you guys have a choice of 3. Whichever one hits. I think it's the Adam Bergman Show.
It is at Adam Bergman Show.
And Adam Bergman is all caps. Show is lowercase.
Ooh, wow. Look at the big brain on Brett.
This guy.
So I'm very excited about this upcoming Safemoon Sunday. I'm curious to see what things they're going to be discussing. Obviously, it'll be recaps of stuff, but I want to kind of touch on this before we end. This update that Ryan had tweeted out about the Wallet Connect. Do you think that he's going to drop that live during the Safemoon Sunday? Because it's only Tuesday today. Technically, he has several days Apple's approval. It's normally, 1 to 2 days. It very well could be out before Friday. What are your guys' thoughts on that?
I think it depends greatly on when Apple approves it. We'll see how that process goes.
When we get the green apple.
Yeah.
Yes. Green apple.
Well, thank you so much, everybody. Thank you, Moonboy, Generation Crypto, RJ, Safemoon Tim, as well as Adam Bergman, who did have to leave just slightly early. Thank you, everybody that did tune in. And, as John says, we are Safemoon. We are family. I look forward to seeing you all in the next roundtable. Take care.
See you guys.
Diamond Fist.
Diamond fisting.